Seven's football telecast is proudly brought to you by Amy, Mitre 10, Repco, Sip and Save, Ultratune, and Quits.
Well, it's not just the matches that are in Adelaide yet. Living here this week, the build-up's been absolutely fantastic. We're expecting 50,000 people for the first time at an AFL game at Footy Park, and a pretty even spread too of Power and Crows fans. We've had big showdowns before. Maybe the first one will remain the special one, but this one must be up with the ones we've had previously. Graham Corns joins me. Graham, it's been great being in Adelaide this week, hasn't it?
Well, both teams had big wins last week, and Port Adelaide on a real high. The new standard means that Crows supporters who wouldn't normally be able to get to this game are here. The split in the crowd has been will be good, and the emotion's been great. It should be a very exciting, high fever-pitched game.
And Graham, the results this week have been good for both teams so far. For Adelaide particularly, Collingwood, Geelong and Kangaroos losing, and Port a window of opportunity with Hawthorn losing as well.
Yeah, well, Adelaide will sniff that. They see the opportunity. I'm never sure whether that's a good enough or strong enough incentive. Port Adelaide have some momentum. His second spot out of their reach, by that ladder not, but it makes this game even more critical.
No team has won 2 showdowns in 1 year. Port are going for that today. They're favoured. 4 of the 9 so far matches have been decided by 10 points or under. Port has the edge 5-4 as we speak. They've won 3 of the last 4, in fact.
Well, I reckon if the coaches were doing their job properly, they would have identified this particular game right at the start of the year as a game that was going to be crucial to their finals chances, either to make it or consolidate. And if they've been preparing that long, it makes it easier to actually run the game out. I think it'll be a close one, but I think Port Adelaide have some sort of advantage.
3 changes for Port. Wakeland, Cockatoo Collins very positive. The interesting one's Harwood, first game this season.
And he's had a lot of internal drama here in South Australia, changing from Glenelg to Port Adelaide in the internal competition. They look a little bit tall. I thought it was a surprising choice to bring Cockatoo Collins and Harwood both in. Cockatoo Collins had to come in, of course. They may be one smaller running player short.
We're in a position to go down and join Gary Ayres, who's with Neil Curley. Good afternoon, King.
How are you, Bruce? Well, Gary, you spent a lot of time working this year, but it's down to this game.
Yeah, it's obviously a special game for both sides, Neil, and we need obviously to be able to stand up and be counted today, and that's been pretty much the theme all week, so that's what I'm looking forward to see if we can do that.
Your ruckman must challenge Primus.
Yeah, they do. They've got a big job. He's been in pretty consistent form all the way through this year. He means a lot to their midfield setup. Obviously, we believe with Clark, Marsh and Biglands, they're going to have big jobs today, but we're quietly confident they can do that.
It's going to be a tough one. All the very best.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you, Bruce.
Terrific, Neil, and thanks to Gary Ayres. Weight of numbers against Primus almost. Vardy an important inclusion, Biglands back.
Yeah, well, 3 ruckmen there, Clark, Biglands and Marsh, although Marsh will probably start forward. It might stretch Port Adelaide's defence a little bit. There's a lot of rumours going around about Matty Clark under some cloud because of a virus late in the week. Some suggestion it's more than a virus, so Rhett Biglands is there perhaps to run and jump at Matty Primus.
How good was Nick Stevens last week? He was fantastic, wasn't he?
He's a great young player, and I think Mark Williams has just released him a little bit.
McLeod, could he play the game of the season? He's been very good this year. He probably hasn't taken a game by the scruff of the neck. You look at the midfields, there are stars everywhere.
Yeah, and if you take a line through Mark Williams last week, he was able to match up and pick off the Essendon midfielders a little bit better than Kevin Sheedy did. It might be the same today. He might just try and match up on McLeod, Goodwin, Edwins, Rashudo, rather than just to have a shootout.
Both teams have got terrific taggers. Carr for Port Adelaide, Stingline for Adelaide. Treadray, I think, is the class tall forward on the ground for either team.
And who will play him? If he plays around at half forward, Mark Stevens should pick him up because he's the best of the Adelaide defenders. But you don't want to restrict his attacking movement from centre half back. So Stevens, if he's around half back, if he's closer to the goals, Nathan Bassett will get him.
Could the oldest player be the most important, most influential player here today, 34 years of age. This extraordinary talent, Darren Jarman.
He shouldn't be Adelaide's leading goal kicker, but he is. Stephen Paxman, well, he's the form defender. He's had a great season with Port Adelaide, but his recent form on Darren Jarman is not good. I'm not sure whether he's confident enough to play on him. So you bring into play someone like Brett Montgomery or maybe some other surprise matchup.
I've heard Polton's got a chance of playing there. Can't wait for it, Cornsey. It feels like it's been a long week. We're ready to go. Tony McGuinness and Bruce Lindner join us along with King Curley. We're back with the opening bounce right after this.
What a way to spoil my nice afternoon.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. This car pulled out right in front of me.
Right in the back.
Such an incredible sight.
Big, and you should have seen the look on his face. The car has gone
Up on two wheels.
I shudder to think what's going to happen. There's a set of shots, and he's heading straight for her.
Right through this window. And there was glass everywhere, and then this other car came along and bang right in the back of him.
Apparently, he got straight through to Amy. Lovely girl, sorting out the whole thing from start to finish.
Teachers are kissing students.
What? You kissed Dana Poole?
If you want my resignation, you got it.
Students are getting caught by teachers. And teachers are getting with teachers. And that's all before the lunch bell. Monday on Boston Public.
At these prices, don't miss being a part of the action at Repco.
Bendix, the best-known name in brakes. Bendix Ultimate Disc Brake Pads designed for high-performance vehicles from just $89.95. Bosch, Super 4 spark plugs improve performance and economy, 4-pack $38.95. Munro SensorTrack delivers comfort when you want it, control when you need it. Shockers from $129 a pair. Shell, Helix Super 5 litre $17.95 and multigrade 4 litre $11.45.
At Repco, we know what it is, we know where it goes.
Blue Lake's what we ordered, wasn't it?
Ordered the trim.
If you've ever taken on a big job around the house,
Well done. It's on plaster and there are holes.
you'll know that getting the right advice
Got to start with that.
is what really saves you money.
It's good value and there's a great range of colours.
And a whole lot
They're
more.
washable. They come in a whole range of colours also.
Because the only thing better than knowing you did it yourself
My dad had a few doubts, but I knew you could.
is knowing how much you saved.
He couldn't believe he got straight through to me. He thought he'd get a computer.
If you'd rather speak to a real person, call Amy on 13 22 44.
This marriage will take a very unexpected twist.
I'm not going to wait until you decide this marriage is over.
You'll just have to watch
Otherwise, what?
to see where it's going to end.
There's an emergency.
Rose! Tuesday on the Sevens All Saints.
3 other matches today, the Lions and the Doggies, the Bombers and the Blues, the Eagles and the Saints. Keep you informed with the first 2 in particular, the other game starting late. We're going down to the boundary line. We've already seen Neil Curley. He's down there looking resplendent, along with Bruce Lindner, who he coached to a premiership on this ground back in the 80s. Welcome to both of you. And, Curls, I'll start with you. Where you were interviewing Gary Ayres, apparently it's pretty tough to kick a goal from that pocket.
Well, the wind's going directly across the ground there, and standing over there, there's no wind here at all, on this side. Standing over there, I said to Gary, this is going to take 15 metres off your kick. It is very, very strong, and any player having a shot for goal out there where the Crows boys ran out of the ground will find it very, very difficult.
And Bruce, one thing too, last night we had a huge downpour here in Adelaide, but the ground out there, Curls,
beautiful.
They're nearly wearing moulded soles, so conditions pretty good, a little bit swirly, as Curls said. Port, out-and-out favourites, should actually take the game. What about it, Curls?
I think I'm changing my bet. I'm going to the Crows. I think there'll be some feathers flying that first quarter.
Yeah, they might all be black, I'm afraid. Back to you guys.
Keep it up. Tony McGuinness with us in the box. Great to have you here, Tony. It's a grand occasion in Adelaide, isn't it?
It is, Bruce. It's a marvellous game. Stakes are high for both sides, no question about that. I'm looking forward to the captains' games, both sides. I think they'll be pivotal in the result. Rishudo would be looking to play a game and have a presence like he did against Carlton earlier in the year. Primus has been great all year.
He has. He really led from the front in the second half last week. Rishudo's won the toss and kicks to the left. So the key matchups early, who does Stingline get, who does Carr get? You'd think Carr will get McLeod. Who goes to Jarman? Will it be Polton or will it be Paxman? Will it be Montgomery? Where does Wanganeen start? We're going to find out in the next 30 seconds, aren't we?
Well, you'd think if Wanganeen goes forward, that's a good attacking start for Port Adelaide. Of course, he did a great job on the herd. Okay, he's gone forward.
Yep. Can't you believe that he's hovering with Warren Treadray about centre-half forward at Port Adelaide's end. So I guess he'll start there with Chad Corns and Brent Guerra, who has been really interesting in the forward line over the last couple of weeks.
Now, Paxman's going down towards the goal square with Marsh and Jarman.
Yeah, Paxman takes Jarman.
He's running very purposefully, isn't he?
Yep. Wakeland goes back on it. Marsh in the goal square, so they've got a taller 6'6" with Darren Jarman in the goal square. That's a good positive move. It'll try and stretch the Port Adelaide back line.
Polton's getting Vardy, so Polton goes to Vardy. Bassett might have Treadray here. It looks like Bassett on Treadray.
Well, Graham made the point before, Bruce. If Treadray plays deep, Bassett will play him. Stevens plays centre-half back on Chad Corns. If Treadray and Corns change, then you would think the Stevens would stay at centre-half back.
So Hart onto Wanganeen. Siren sounds. Full house. Expectations high. Stakes very, very high. Crows to the left. The home team, the power to the right. Primus, such a key figure. Good handball out of the centre. Dew, the first kick of the game to half-forward Treadray, where he took that mark last week. Stevens goes to ground. So we'll keep an eye on the slips. Good tackle by Cockatoo Collins on McLeod, and it'll be a ball up.
Just quickly, fellas, interchange for the Crows. Byrne, Shirley, Burton, Biglands.
And Jared Polton has Peter Vardy, which is going to be a pretty important matchup for Port Adelaide and the Crows.
Mark Rishudo starts forward for the Crows as well. It's an interesting move. It's picked up by Nick Stevens at halfback flank.
And guys, just quickly for Port Adelaide, Schofield, Harwood, Bishop and Brogan on the bench.
Thanks, boys. Bickley's kick to centre wing. Chance here for Kingsley. Got plenty of time. Uses Polton now. Wasn't a great handball, just behind him, but I guess the Crow player was coming at him. Free kick against Smart to Francis, who kicked 2 very long goals last week at important stages. He's had a good year, Francis. Started the Ansett Cup spectacularly. Had a flat patch, but he's come back well. That's a poor kick. Crows should mark. Take a pick. Welsh, who was very good against Melbourne last week, off half forward, takes it. Uses Stevens. Had a great year. Comes out wide to Edwards. Probably been down just a touch the last fortnight, Edwards, after a good start. Kicks to centre wing. Rishudo did very well there. Got rid of Stevens, but couldn't take the mark. And then Rishudo attacks Mead. Not a great handball. Puts James under the pump. Crows did very well here. Smart holding the ball. Terrific tackle by Franco.
It's a great tackle, but I tell you what, the physical endeavour of both sides, particularly the Crows, has been really good. They've opened this game as though they really want to assert their physical domination.
Franco's kick to Corns. Stevens with him. Belts away. James's handball to Kingsley. Kingsley's handball not good to Francis. Bickley's on the burst. Can go for goal. He really should have kicked to Vardy. Vardy was running into the goal square. He kicks to Perry. It's the wrong option, and it's a great tackle. And the Crows run into each other. Back to Vardy. Still back to Vardy. Poor handball to Bickley. They're taking a long time. Rishudo can kick a captain's goal, and he does. He kicks a goal after all of that.
Well, what a great start for the Crows, and as Graham has mentioned, they've started with a good attacking, positive frame of mind. They're going to go hard at them. They need to start well. There's no question about that. Mark Bickley went to the right option there. Would have been disappointed with that, but importantly, Graham, Crows had numbers at the contest.
They did, but the turnover in the midfield was absolutely crucial against Port Adelaide. Adam Kingsley just holding onto the ball rather than giving the first instinctive give, and the ball's turned over. Mark Bickley swooped on it, and it was an Adelaide's forward line rather than the Port Adelaide forward line.
I thought the impressive thing was the physical pressure. They didn't headhunt the Crows. Actually, the tackles were terrific. They were strong, but they didn't headhunt when they probably could have really gone for Port. So it was a sign of maturity. Smart, just a tough ball to win there. and Port try to bring it through and it'll be a ball up.
Bruce, just an interesting pick-up too. We talked about Matthew Clark before the game, whether he's got a virus or a leg injury. If it's a leg injury, he's certainly jumping into the ball or not jumping into the contest, as it would suggest it would. He's just reached a couple of times. He wouldn't want to keep doing that too long, giving Primus an advantage in the square.
Well, I guess the insurance is certainly Bigland's. Bickley doing well, as he's done all year. Vardy, well done, Polton. Polton slaps it away. Terrific tackle on Kingsley from Edwards. Gallagher, first showdown for him, little kick only as far as James at half-back, almost to centre wing. Corn-Stevens, that's going to be a pivotal duel. Corns really came of age last week against the Bombers. Good contest, ball up.
Bruce, just going on what Tony said there, it's the first time I've seen Matthew Clark wear these leggings, so it could be a groin area.
Thanks, Neil. A lot of speculation. Graham mentioned that before the game about Clark and as to the problems he's had this week.
Be a corky, Bruce, for sure. I mean, if you're going to reach at the ball like that and wear those leggings, it's definitely a corky.
Smart, Kingsley to Carr. Kicked 3 last time, good kick. Wanganeen kicked 6 last time on the burst.
Well, good instinctive movement then from Adam Kingsley. That's the difference. It's to release Carr and the lead of Wanganeen. Ben Hale had no chance. Interesting the way he takes this chest mark, Tony. He didn't really hug it. He sort of more or less wrapped his arms around it.
So Wanganeen should go. Kicked it carefully and he's put it through. Rashido Wanganeen kicked the early goals.
Feel the need for speed? Brace yourself for the next 7 blockbuster premiere.
The hell is that? Sounds like a train.
2 men, 2 crimes, 1 chain.
So what, you don't like white people now, is that it?
No, I just don't like you.
The hottest ride since The Fugitive, with a twist you'll never see coming. The Matrix's Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin.
Let's do this.
Fled premieres tonight.
What do you think of the Hart Wanganeen matchup, Graham?
Well, I think it's the best option for Adelaide. Ben Hart got him towards the end of the last showdown when most of the damage has been done. I can't think of another Adelaide player that matches up on him better.
So Clark does look a little tentative. Gallagher, high tackle. A bit lucky, I think, but he rode it down pretty well. He's been impressive, Gallagher. Gee, Bickley started industriously here. That's a poor kick. It's out very wide. Now, Marsh and Wakeland, you'd back Wakeland with the ball on the ground and out of play.
And see, that's Adelaide's problem all year. You've got a kick from the centre of the ground and it ends out deep on the half-forward flank on the wrong side of the ground. That's the negative side of the ground where the wind is blowing. They just need to improve their system.
Smart at the back, did well. Franco to run onto it. What a record he's got in showdowns. To Francis. To Jarman, clever. Really clever. And then goes in hard. Lovely bump there coming from Goodwin. First time we've already seen him along the line. Gee, pressure on Wakeland. Crows are at them here. James over the top. Crows want a free kick ball up.
They are hunting hard, Bruce, the Crows. There's no question about that. I mean, Port Adelaide are just going to have to hang in there and absorb this attack on the footy and the man with the ball at this stage.
Darren Jarman just read that beautifully off Fabian Francis's boot. That's what a coach loves to see. Forward line players fighting to hold the ball in the area.
Well, he intercepted a couple of times last week spectacularly against Melbourne, didn't he? Marsh went high and Franco tucked in the pocket. Nowhere really to go. Bangs it out. That's not a bad result for Port. Guerra very cleverly. Kingsley held up. Well played. Really well played. Port have done well. Carr got it across. A little kick from Montgomery didn't go far. Bickley back to Welsh. Welsh looks busy. Kicks to half forward. Johnson takes a good mark on Montgomery. Long way from goal. He's between centre wing and half forward. His kicking's let him down in the last 2 weeks. He's a wonderful player. Leans back, kicks to centre half forward. Oh, gee, Rashido with the best. It dropped short, didn't it?
Too easy.
Well, what a great matchup. Nick Stevens, the hard-running midfielder, runs the lines as good as anybody in the competition, and Roo, who's had a disappointing year by his standards, but as we said before the game, it's a type of game today where Roo could really come into it, whether he's in the midfield or up forward, and just stamp his presence on it.
It's not good defensive work by Port Adelaide, though. There's always got to be somebody in front of the pack for a ball that's going to come off the boot a little bit ragged and drop short. I'd have to say, though, that Mark Williams would be looking at this matchup because you don't really think Nick Stevens is the best matchup when Mark Prosciutto's playing as a key forward.
Strange season, as Tony mentioned. His best football's been out of Adelaide against the Blues and the Saints. This to give him a perfect start and put Adelaide in front. It's a good kick. He's done it. The captain's kick too. Kingsley onto Rasciuto, so they've made a move, Port.
Okay.
So Rasciuto's kicked a couple, Wanganeen's kicked one, Adelaide lead by a goal. Primus taps forward to Edwards. Crows starting promisingly here. To centre half forward, Perry was good. To Gallagher, we know he's a good kick. He goes long, hard and high to full forward. Ball comes to ground. Montgomery had his head pulled off, free kick. That's advantage given anyway to Paxman. Out wide, good kick here to Dew. This could be dangerous. A second bounce, a third bounce, a fourth bounce. McLeod comes to him now. He gets around him pretty easily. Centering kick, interesting. Smart should chop it off. He does.
Yeah, the wind just held it up. Nigel got to it. Strong mark.
Now Goodwin's got Primus behind him. Primus is a good chaser. Goodwin centering kick to Rasciuto. Too far. Welsh attacks hard. Little give to the roof. Another little give. A slow handball. Pressure. Stevens for goal. Good chase by Corns. Free kick coming back against Corns to Stevens.
He just didn't get there, and he got both hands in the back. Upset him, but it's a push.
Mark Stevens had Darren Jarman just free out of vision as well to give the handball across to.
One of the handballs too had to be forward of the play a bit more just to let them run onto it. Now Stevens has kicked well for goal this year. He kicked a very important goal, I thought, from the boundary against Melbourne last week. And remember late against the Bulldogs where he caused a bit of havoc, where he came forward and kicked goals late.
He's been an excellent player for Adelaide all year. Gives them a lot of dash and run off the half back line, pushing forward in much the same way as their back line did in their two premiership years.
Well, he's kicking basically from where Rasciuto kicked a moment ago, isn't he? Very similar. Maybe a bit more front on. He's kicked it well. The Adelaide Crows have got three. Well, you can't blame Corns for the chase. I mean, he really pressured Stevens, made him earn it, but Stevens kicks a goal.
Well, and I guess that's the dilemma that Gary Ayres has solved. Did he put Mark Stevens, his best defender, on Warren Treadway, Port Adelaide's most important forward line player? He hasn't done that. He's left Mark Stevens at half-back where he can sprint, where he can run, and that's where he's been so good. All good teams have strong attacking centre half-backs.
Well, Corns had some practice because Wellman tried to run off him last week in the second quarter for a while, and he responded to the challenge. So no McLeod yet. First touch to Gallagher, busy to Perry. Poor handball. He should have kicked Perry. He's on his left side. That's a terrible decision. He was set up to kick the ball to full forward and gives an ordinary handball. Treadway off the ground. Kicks forward to Guerra, and good hip and shoulder carries him over the line.
Bruce, you'll notice a lot of the play when Port Adelaide going forward down the outer side of the ground. It's a southwesterly, so to run the ball down the lines is definitely that side of the ground. They're just going to have to drive the ball and run it as far towards the 50 as they can, and then look to centre it into the hot spot. If they do that too early, they'll be in trouble.
Stevens, first time. Franco, first real look at him too. Waits the kick very well to Treadway. Got him. That is a mark. He's the only player out there, maybe Corns as well, that could take one like that. And Porter got both of them.
That's a great kick, a well-weighted kick. That's the play I was talking about, Bruce. Run the ball down the outer side of the ground, get it as close to the 50-metre area as you can, then transfer the play to the side of the ground where that kick went, because then you can have a shot on goal with a chance of kicking it. As Curl said before the game, very difficult to kick from the other pocket.
If ever you need to drill a ball at the right-hand post, this is the one.
We'll get a good look. So Treadway, so important last week. Young gun in the AFL. Kicks from about 48 metres, right-hand post. He's straightened it, he's hooked it, and it's a behind. I was probably harsh on Perry a moment ago, but Perry's football smarts will improve as he gets experience. But They were shown out a moment ago because he had a free passage to goal.
Yeah, well, you nearly need an instruction with a player like that. When he gets it under pressure, just put it on his boot and drive it forward.
Hart close to the line, gets good distance. Cockatoo Collins has missed the last couple to Mead, who missed the first showdown. That's a terrific kick to Dew. Well, if Dew can't kick it from here, nobody can. Held up. James's little give is good. Franco tucked away in the pocket, brings it back. Not bad, not going to be a goal. Guerra at the back, keeps it in play, and will kick a goal. He does.
No, it's through for a point.
It's through for a point, is it? Sorry. So Bassett helping the ball over the line, through for a behind.
There's no easy kicks for the Port Adelaide players out here at the moment, and it is significant that there's more Adelaide players around the ball when it's loose, and their tackling has just been a little bit better.
Graham, you may not be able to see that the Port half back line is coming down to make their screen, and they're giving Crows forwards loose.
They won't want to get it behind.
Treadray's not the way to go, I wouldn't have thought. Smart read at best.
If he sees him.
One bounce and then takes off and goes hard and long. Jarman gives a shove and gives away a free kick. Free kick to Paxman. And now Port are on. Corns on his own. Cockatoo Collins is on his own. Corns goes through. Oh, cut off by McLeod. Now he's got Marsh. Uses him now. Can Marsh kick the goal? Could have run in. Doesn't matter. He kicks a goal.
Oh, dear.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. Every time you inhale, tobacco smoke condenses in your lungs to form tar. This is a healthy lung. And this is the amount of tar a pack-a-day smoker breathes in every year. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
It's a tackle count, Bruce. 9 tackles to Adelaide, 3 to Port Adelaide, indicative of the numbers that Adelaide are getting to the contest and the pressure they're putting Port Adelaide under.
Now there's, I think Nick Stevens, not sure what happened there, but back we go. Well, this is a good lead, isn't it? Adelaide with 4 straight goals. And ironically, they've had trouble converting all year, and yet today they haven't missed. Rashudo to Gallagher, out wide to McLeod. Good mark. That's a good grab. Now, he's a long, long way out. He just pops it up cleverly and finds Edwards. And Port in disarray just for the moment, aren't they?
Well, the significant move there is Mark Rashudo's gone into the centre and Andrew McLeod's gone to that half-forward flank. And Andrew McLeod is absolutely on fire at the moment. He is everywhere. We saw him knock Brent Guerra out of bounds in the back pocket for Adelaide. Now he's taking the ball at half-forward. Smothered Chad Corns in the previous goal. And now gives the ball off here to Tyson Edwards, who is a good kick for goal.
Turns 25 tomorrow. McLeod was 25 yesterday, and so was Bickley. He was 32 yesterday. Birthdays everywhere for the Crows. Might have just missed. I think he has. He's the first to miss. So Adelaide go to 4-1 to 1-2.
It's important to start well. It's more important to hurt the opponent on the scoreboard. Adelaide are threatening to do that. 16 minutes of the first quarter, 4 goals to 1. They do have the aid of a fairly strong breeze, which we can't really see from up here.
What's it worth, Neil, do you reckon, the breeze?
Maybe 5 metres on a kick. So work out the goals from that.
Francis, so it does hold up, but it's a pretty long kick. Primus, Clark, it fell into his arms almost. Clever mark. Primus subdued a bit early, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he was always going to fall short, that kick.
Clark needs to go back off the mark. Decides to go very, very wide to Marsh. Almost took a sticky one. Vardy, left foot, not bad at all. Oh, it's a goal. It's come from nowhere. It's a beauty. Does he love a showdown? He's kicked 21 goals in showdowns. The next best by either team is Jarman on 14.
It makes such a difference, Bruce, when you've got quality class players who can front and centre and hit a contest and just create that exciting opportunity. He's had a terrific start to the game. Ben Marsh, an excellent selection, playing in a 4 pocket. He just seems to be throwing himself at the ball today and really going hard at these leads like he did in his debut season a couple of years ago.
Well, he's had a couple of chances this year, and I don't think he's always convinced the Adelaide selectors. Well, maybe he's realised he's not going to get too many more chances. He's such a tall, mobile, skillful player.
Guys, just quickly, Schofield off, Francis on, and I know, Graham, you'd love it. See how the Crows zoned on that kick out then.
Edwards, thanks Bruce. Good tackle, Montgomery. Another good tackle. Gallagher put the tackle on. Perry in hard, as he always does. He's a worker. Due ball up. It was Schofield on and Francis off. Thanks for that, Bruce. So,
and Port only had 3 at the centre bounce then.
In the square nil, did they?
Yes, there was a confusion with Franco and Schofield.
So Stenglijn's got Cockatoo Collins. There's no one forward of the centre circle for Port. Well, Corn's basically 5 metres forward of it now. So the Crows doing all the attacking. Free kick coming to Port, to Primus. This is a really good start by Adelaide. We know Port can kick goals in a hurry. They've been prolific this year. Good kick by Mead to Treadray. He looks in sharp form as he did last week. Hardly missed a footy last week. Out wide to Corns. It's a long way from home there. And Stevens wraps him up for a boundary throw-in.
Another important thing there too, Bruce, is that Jarman has not featured in a goal yet.
It's a good point, Neil. And I reckon Tony's point about Marshall's a good one. He made a presence a moment ago to give Vardy the crumb, didn't he?
He certainly did.
So half forward left, Port attacking. Primus getting busy now. Stengline, just a little wobbly one. What a good player Stenglijn's been this year. Mead versus Perry. Schofield getting busy immediately. Little kick is a good one to Dew, who's prominent early. Getting plenty of the footy.
Yeah, centering's dangerous, though, into the breeze.
Keeps it low and hard. Treadray, well done, Nilly. Bassett front spot. Franco's give. Wanganeen, Wanganeen, Wanganeen. You little beauty.
Having a new car warranty means what goes gets fixed. But you have to go back to the dealer for servicing, or your warranty goes. Right? Wrong. UltraTune can service your new car from day one, and your warranty keeps running as smoothly as your car. UltraTune, in tune with you and your new car, and your warranty at 15 RAA-endorsed locations.
Bruce, Stuart Dew has been involved in several forward movements by Port Adelaide. He's playing on James Gallagher today. It's one of few games this season I've seen Dew not picked up by an opposition player in tag. If you give him any space at all, he can really have an impact on a game.
So Rashudo and Primus at each other there. Port get an important goal against the flow. They've actually had a bit of it, haven't they? It's 4 scoring shots to 6.
Well, the inside 50s, it's 7 to 8 as well. So they've certainly driven the ball forward often enough. Just at the moment, I'd say Crows have got more numbers at the contest and probably using the ball a little better as well.
They just look a bit more alert too, don't they? Just as though there's a bit more purpose about what they're doing.
Primus and Clark, they both had hold of each other. James, there's Dew again, continues to get it. Or rather, Montgomery off Welch there. Where's Wanganeen? He's in the goal square now. He goes to centre half forward. Montgomery goes to him. Johnson to cut it off. Got one hand to it. Free kick to the Crows, is it?
Yeah, he's ruled interference to Kane Johnson.
Wanganeen down off the ball.
50-metre penalty here.
Wanganeen hasn't got off the ground yet from that marking contest as well.
Well, what was the 50-metre penalty for?
It's hard to say. There's Wanganeen, and he is proppy, isn't he? He's kicked 2 goals for Port so far.
He does recover remarkably, though.
And now Hart can get off him here. Oh. So Hart's off Wanganeen. Needs to use it here, Hart. Goes long and hard to Marsh. Wasn't a good kick. Jarman's a chance. He's in the pocket. Left foot. Misses.
He's in big trouble, Gavin. He's still in the hands of the trainers. He's extremely proppy. He doesn't seem to be moving freely at all.
Harwood getting ready to change him, I think.
He's taking him off. The runners come out, or the physios come out and say, just get him off. Now, Gavin's recovered. Gavin has made a remarkable recovery.
Crows go one-on-one here.
But they say, come off. No.
He's telling Peter Barnes, oh, I'm not coming off this ground.
This is where it surprised me. I think the player knows if he's right or not.
So Nick Stevens kicked to centre wing to Cockatoo Collins. Good mark. So Wanganeen will come off for Harwood. Not just yet.
Oh, again.
Second time.
Third, really.
Stengline. Now McLeod's a chance here. McLeod will kick a goal. McLeod will go all the way. He does. How's that? Does that hurt?
On Today Tonight, Adelaide's rotten removalists.
They damaged an antique desk.
Here they are at work, breaking furniture, wasting time and overcharging.
Would you like us to ring the police about this?
Even stealing cash and bragging they won't get caught. Plus, Adelaide's rip-off reverend at it again.
Why would anyone claim work cover if they weren't actually injured?
And testing pet food, what Puss and Pooch really like. That's Today Tonight, this week.
It was on early. You could tell it was going to happen, couldn't you?
Jeez, he's having a great day. Isn't he a brilliant player, McLeod? He just seizes on any opportunity, getting away from Josh Carr there.
Wanganeen stays on the ground, by the way, for Port.
Cockatoo Collins comes off.
And Howard on.
Well, Mark Williams being stretched here. Free kick to the power. Oh, gee. I hope it's not reversed.
No, you've got to put those beyond doubt. Just don't react, because umpires will reverse it.
So Franco in the heart of the centre square against Bickley. Kick wide. Geez, not a bad kick. Schofield's worked hard here. Howard has just come onto the ground. Stengline. Howard. Jarman's come down to the back line. Howard's little kick in board to Kingsley. It's about 60 metres from goal. Pops it up to Corns. Stevens. Well done, Corns. Held his down. Free kick anyway. One way or the other.
That's an excellent piece of play by Chad Corns. Just held Stevens out.
So Cockatoo Collins changed his boots here.
Did he slip or did he ask to do that? I hadn't seen a player slip, but
he kicked well last week, Corns.
We had a terrific game, but he and Treadray both marking players inside 50 important today.
This is the area in his game that he'll work very hard on over the next few years. He's kicked 10 goals, 18 this year. It's a good kick. He's kicked it. An important goal.
Well, it was an important goal for him for a couple of reasons. Firstly, his goal kicking hasn't been his strength, and he would realise he'd want to make up for the turnover deep in the forward pocket a couple of minutes ago. But more importantly, it drags Port Adelaide back to 3 goals into the breeze. It hasn't really... Well, Adelaide haven't put the game beyond doubt yet, which, given their start and given their impression they're making around the ball, they may have done.
Interesting also that Treadray playing deep on the full forward line. Chad Corns being given a whole lot of space around that top of the 50-metre area. That's when I think he plays best.
Boys, just reinforcing how hard this ground is. Cockatoo Collins has come off and he's put the mouldeds on rather than the screw-ins.
Thanks, Bruce. Gallagher's kick. Port doing well here. They've lifted. Schofield's been important to Stevens. Oh, clever. Well done. Left foot kick, not so good. Bassett with a chance. His gives okay to Gallagher. Rarely wastes one. Take your pick, Stevens. Called rank on Edwards and took the mark. Stevens, Corns, what a duel that's going to be. Perry did well. He worked Mead underneath it. Mead looked a bit proppy. Franco's running power, important boundary throw in. So, a reminder about the internet, i7sport.com.au. Get the ladder tonight after the match. It'll be pretty interesting to see where everybody is.
Jared Schofield's had a marked impression on this game coming off the bench.
Did well last week early against the Bombers, I thought. Clark, so Bigland's still sitting on the interchange. Brogan with him, so ball up.
Down. Hey, fellas, just keep an eye on the Rashudo Kingsley situation.
What's happening, Neil?
They're having a bit of fun.
Who's getting into who?
No, look, Adam Kingsley was niggling him, and Mark Rashudo wasn't taking any of it, so...
It's Josh Carr's with him right now. So Clark, free kick, no, not paid. Ball comes loose. Rashudo going forward to the play. Carr gets it from James. It's a clever kick by Carr. Boundary throw in.
It's an interesting piece of play then, Bruce. The ball was pushing forward on the ground into the Crows' forward area, and the ball was in dispute, and Rashudo actually ran away from the ball, trying to drag Carr out of the play, which he's now effectively done. Just Rashudo with space at the top of the 50 there on Josh Carr.
Trying to isolate Josh Carr as a key defender, which is not
good
the way.
move.
Primus, well done. Stevens to run on to it. Mark Stevens was up to the task. Ball comes loose to Welsh. Adelaide doing well, I reckon, in the 50-50s here. Vardy turns Polton inside out. Not a good kick by Vardy. Perry did very well. McLeod, little give. Vardy strolls in and misses.
You know, there are moments in the game which actually are pivotal to the game, and that is almost one of them. Strolling into an open goal, he'd done so well to win the ball. Andrew McLeod, who has started in such great form, fed the ball to him, and he's missed the goal.
His Vardy just turned Polton upside down then, didn't he? Just turned him inside out. Just Adelaide. Such a clever player, Vardy.
I know the Swans were worried about Vardy early in the match. I'm pretty happy when he went to the bench for the Crows that day.
Won't be going to the bench today, Bruce.
Paxman. Here's Schofield, who Graham talked about a moment ago. He's been good, hasn't he, Cornsey?
Yeah, he knows where to get it.
Left foot wide.
It's all right.
Kingsley. Jeez, he wants it out now.
Yeah. He won't
gone.
get around.
Well, that's an interesting
You cannot do. He's carried him over the boundary line and then awarded a free kick for holding the ball.
McLeod's kick's outstanding to Goodwin. To Vardy, I should say. So Vardy busy. McLeod, well, he hasn't had the most possessions, but he's the best man on the ground early. Vardy's kick, bit of a waste in the pocket, boundary throw-in.
Graham, an interesting stat, 16-4 the tackle count the Crows' way.
They are so at it.
Well, so much talked about Port's game against the Bombers last week. One day less. I mean, maybe they will start a bit slower. Who knows? It was a huge game last week, wasn't it?
There's no question about that, Bruce, that was going to happen. I mean, you can't play in such a big game and not be flat. It's just that mental side of the game.
Goodwin on his wrong side, and Mead will take the mark. Well, he doesn't actually, but he'll be all right. So Mead and Paxman have both had a few ankle problems. Mead's kicked to Crows here. Good handball on the up. Back to Gallagher. Very important, Gallagher. Lovely kick inboard to the Roo. The captain's 2 kicks from goal. Squares it off to Bassett. Not a great kick normally. Just pops it up. It's a good choice, though, to Goodwin. Well played, Polton. Goodwin waited for it. This is a big turnover for Port. But it's not now because Polton has found the line.
Oh, he does so much. He does so much good work with his heart and his endeavour. Just slightly off balance there. Couldn't dribble the line. Carried it.
It's a poor kick by Bassett, really. Slow and high. Here's Stevens. Kicks it in high. Marsh, the big flyer. Welsh roving down, brought down. Probably should have got a free kick. Belted away by Port to Schofield in the right place, doing very well. That's been a great move by Mark Williams. Guerra a bit slow, but he's got good hands, and he's also got a footy brain. Bickley worked him into it. Guerra's kick's a good one. Treadray. Now, who can work for him here?
Nobody to kick to, Bruce. Nobody forward of centre. They stream forward now.
Paxman's the go. If Schofield can get it to him, he's going to try.
Oh,
McLeod does it again. McLeod hooks back hard and high. Stevens with a lot of heart here. He's got to keep his eye on it. He did. Perry can't take it cleanly.
Shepherd.
Treadray did well. Finds the line. Boundary throwing. What a good quarter of footy it is.
Andrew McLeod. How many interceptions is that?
At least 3, probably 4.
4 kicks, 3 handballs, 1 mark, 2 tackles, 1 goal, but you don't see the interceptions.
He's been the most influential player on the ground in the opening turn. Rashudo and Wanganeen have been important. Clark doing well on Primus. Johnson, terrific stuff by James. Schofield again to Franco, to James. He'll go hard and he'll go low and wide to Guerra. He's clever. Good tackle, Bickley. Gallagher in trouble. Corns has got him. Dew couldn't get his finger on it. James misses. He had Dew inside and decided to go for the goal.
And we saw a piece of inexperienced play then by James Gallagher. Exciting young player, but he should have gone boundary side. Then he tried to turn himself back inside towards Port Adelaide's goals. The only place to go was boundary side.
Bassett short. Kevin Bartlett was with us, wasn't he, Corns? He made an interesting point on Gallagher. He says at times he just tries to find the man every time, when at times you've got to play the percentages. It's an interesting criticism, isn't it? Ben Hart's kicks a beauty to Perry. Perry's been okay. Smart's the go. Now, could Nigel kick one? This will be one for the ages. He's been spraying them everywhere this year. Decides to do the team thing and kick it up high. Marsh, Jarman, Marsh front spot. Ball to be roved, boundary thrown, and again Smart, a nothing kick.
Well, he's been cut up by.
I'm not sure about that, Bruce. It was a centering kick. It put it to the danger zone or the killing zone, if you want to be brutal about it. But it probably had too much air.
Wakeland, Marsh did well, did very well. Clark was over the top. Kingsley wrapped up by Clark. Ball up.
Schofield 8 possessions playing on Nigel Smart in the wing.
And only came on at about the 10-minute mark of the quarter, I think, or 12-minute mark.
He has 4 or 5 of those games a year, doesn't he, Schofield, where and normally he comes off the interchange bench.
Mark Williams on his way down. Mead did well. That Marsh held on to Marsh. No free kick. Good play by the power by Franco. And again, Marsh, so important to Johnson. Good smother by Wakeland. To James. James Russo. Stevens versus Corns. Corns got a good bounce. Stevens got to hold him up here. Corns is on. Can he use it effectively? Oh, that's a bad result. That's loose by Corns.
Well, he had more time than he thought. Dropped the ball. Hit the wrong side of it.
Port Adelaide flooding back hard. Only 1 player forward of centre.
Stingline's got Johnson short if he wants him. He doesn't want him, I don't think. Now he does. So, oh, geez, a terrible kick by Stingline. That's
quarter time, that's what it is. 3-3 Port, 6-3 the Crows. A bit going on here on the ground. So Adelaide lead by 18 points. Neil Curley reckons there's 5 metres on the kick either way. So it's a good start for Adelaide. Port coming back. Wanganeen and Rashudo getting a couple of goals each. McLeod outstanding. So much for the two coaches to think about here.
Well, dominant start for Adelaide, but have they hurt Port Adelaide enough on the scoreboard? That's going to be the real interest in this second quarter.
So that's the situation. The Crows have had dreadful second quarters this year. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how they come back here. But they lead by 3 over Port at quarter time.
Sevens Football Telecast, proudly brought to you by West End Draft. West End, your thirst. McDonald's, Mac your day. And Mitsubishi Motors, driving your world. The controversial fuel additive that threatens to poison our waterways. Banned in the United States, now it could be used in South Australia.
There are so many ways that this stuff can find its way into the water system.
A special report on 7 News Monday night.
At these prices, don't miss being a part of the action at Repco.
Haynes Workshop Manuals. Comprehensive range for popular Aussie cars, $35.95 each. Sound 4. FX40 CD player, $169. 60-watt two-way speakers, $29.95. MVP. Power tools with 2-year warranty from $39. Metrics tool sets. Fits metric and imperial, 24-piece and 14-piece, $99 each.
At Repco, we know what it is, we know where it goes.
I got the prints from the guy at the lab.
Santa Snoopy, one of 4 new looks for Snoopy, Master of Disguise. Collect all 4 this week at McDonald's.
It's caravans and pots and pans, camper trailers too. Boots and decks and anoraks, lots to see and do. Ropes to hitch and tents to pitch, come and hit the trail. The Caravan and Camping Outdoor Leisure Sale. The leading caravan camping and outdoor leisure specialists all together. Bargains all about. Just $5 admission, children under 16 free. A great family day out. Friday the 10th to Sunday the 12th of August. Royal Adelaide Showground.
We've got a huge backyard out the back there. We've got the off-street parking. Did I mention the polished floorboards? Of course, there's also the beautiful open living areas. They've got a wonderful kitchen. Oh, yes, let's not forget the natural gas central heating. Now, the lucky person that purchases this property today, I can assure you, yes, we'll get to the bidding in a moment, sir. What we ask for this property is...
Oh, look at that! Bob's now selling us on 18 months, no deposit, no interest.
18 months? Well, that's almost a year and a half.
Oh, please sell him, Bob.
Broken clear, a long 60-metre bomb. Big pack forms in the goal square. Oh, what a grab! What an absolute screamer! Oh, that's got to be grab of the year.
Golden draft, thanks.
Anyone who ever loved could look at me and know that I love you, knowing I love you so.
The Honda Civic with VTEC, for those who love advanced engineering.
He couldn't believe he got straight through to me. He thought he'd get a computer.
If you'd rather speak to a real person, call Amy on 13 22 44.
It's terrifying.
Which team member have you had enough of?
It's embarrassing.
Dead man walking.
Who will survive the soul-destroying walk of shame in The Weakest Link? Monday, 7:30 on 7.
Quarter time at Footy Park. Crows lead by 18 points. It's 6-3 to 3-3 over Port. Now, 2 other games today. We've got the Bombers and the Blues and the Lions and the Doggies. Look away if you don't want to know the scores. We start with the game of the Gabba.
In association with its premier partner, Carlton and United, proudly presents the 2001 Premiership season.
Crows second quarters this year. They've won 4 second quarters and been outscored 76 goals to 46. So it has been their worst quarter by a long way. Mark Mickens on his way to join Neil Curley. Curls, good opening turn by the Crows, and they lead by 18 points. Here's Mark.
Yeah, very strong one. I'll ask Mark that. Well, Mark, you'd have to be satisfied with that first quarter, but the Crows' danger quarter coming up.
Yeah, it hasn't been good for us traditionally. I thought we started pretty well. Some good smothering and tackling that create opportunities for ourselves. So if we can keep that up, you know, the wind doesn't play too much of an issue.
I was going to say that some of the blocks on the boot been fantastic. About 7 of them, I reckon.
That was excellent. It's just a sign that I think their state of mind's right, and hopefully they can continue that this quarter as well.
Happy with the work rate?
Yeah, very much so. I thought, you know, we didn't let them run free when they had possession too much, and we were pretty good when we had the ball.
All the best. Back to you, Bruce. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Neil, with Mark Mickens. So both Bruce Linder and Neil Curley will check the interchange for us in a moment.
Well, it's interesting. I did notice that Che Cockatoo-Collins was off, and also Jared Polton, who was, well, he was brave in defence, I thought, so trying to pick up.
So Vardy's been picked up by Fabian Francis. That's an interesting one. Fabian Francis goes to Vardy.
Exactly.
Vardy's been a key player early. So start of the second quarter. Big showdown in Adelaide. Big crowd, not completely full, but must be close to 50,000. Clark belts it out of the centre. Bad bounce for Primus, but he has had a subdued start. McLeod, brilliant to Smart. 48 metres out. This will be big. This will be really big. What a start. How good is McLeod? Great finish by Smart.
Well, every time Adelaide use that centre corridor with quick direct movement, they are very hard to stop. That's exactly the start they wanted. Just watch Andrew McLeod here. Loose ball, he swoops. Bang, little left-hand handball, and Nigel Smart. It's a good kick because there's a bit of breeze right to left. Nigel very happy with that one, running off the wing.
Good confidence boost for Nigel as well. Schofield came on him in the first quarter, but halfway through the first quarter, played particularly well.
So Adelaide by 4 goals here. McLeod just winning so many important balls and being so constructive. Primus gets a crack at it this time. It was a dreadful bounce the first one. Lays it down. Stevens tries to get out. McLeod again to Smart. To Perry. He's a left footer. He goes bang. Not a good kick. Paxman read it and takes the mark right on the line. Jarman disappointed. He was on the lead.
Yeah, it wasn't a good kick to him. It set up for Stephen Paxman to get back. If it wasn't a mark, it was going to be out of bounds on the full.
Paxman's done a great job on Bradshaw and Lloyd in recent weeks.
Yeah, Perry finds it hard to finesse to a leading player as well. He's better off kicking long and going to that movement.
Edwards at the back, left for Clark. Clark's the ball was touched off the boot. Goodwin just gets around Primus and then wobbles to centre half forward. Carr does well against the flow. And the kick's interesting. Misses the target out of bounds. Not on the full, though, so boundary throwing.
And there has been a decided lack of confidence with Port Adelaide with the disposal, Tony.
They're certainly missing their targets. I mean, they've been brilliant all year with hitting the player in space or on the lead. They just haven't been able to do that today.
They look a little less instinctive at the moment, don't they? They're thinking about it a bit. Adelaide have put a bit of doubt in their mind. Franco was good. Francis. Long and hard to centre wing. It might be out on the full. I think it is. And it's a kick to Stevens. So Treadray with Stevens. Is that a change, is it?
No, Treadray's come out to half forward. It looks like Chad's gone back to full forward.
So but Stevens will stay there.
Stevens will stay at centre half back.
So it's really the positioning more than the player, isn't it, for the Crows?
Well, I think Mark Williams has tried to drag Stevens. That's a great mark, incidentally, with Brett Montgomery. But I think Mark Williams has tried to drag Stevens back by putting Chad back, but Gary is having nothing of it.
Montgomery, terrific mark. Kick to centre wing. Harwood had a bit of it. Got an early kick when he came on. He'll be pleased with that. Gallagher, first tackle looked high, then he's in trouble. Ball up.
Yeah, sensible decision. They're calling for holding the ball, but wrapped him up. He had nowhere to go, no way to use his hands.
Right, interchange for the Crows are the same as first. Byrne, Shirley, Burton, big ones.
So they haven't used it yet. Burton a bit of an ace up the pack, isn't he, up the sleeve? Been a bit down the last 2 weeks, but you'd expect him to be better. Primus was good there. Edwards bangs away to a vacant space. McLeod might get involved here. He does. Perry uses him. He bursts McLeod. He'll try and draw someone to him. He's bursting. He's inside 50. Keeps it low. It's straight. He is a genius. He's just about the best.
Tonight, what's up, Doc?
You got a problem with this little rabbit?
Stand clear.
Ow. Does he break the skin ever?
This bunny has bite.
Pesky little fella, isn't he?
How will Doc Harry help this wascally wabbit? Find out on Harry's Practice. Then...
Sir Subso, let's go cooking.
Nothing goes better with the beach than a good old barbie.
Okay, that's just about done.
But add a dash of Aristos, and anything can happen.
Hey, David!
All new Surprise Chef. Tonight, 7 o'clock on Channel 7.
Cornsey, you mentioned the Crows have been waiting for him to take a game by the scruff of his neck. He's doing it here.
He's been good, but he hasn't been his absolute best. And Mark Williams has got a problem out as he leave. Well, he's put James on him now by the looks of it. Roger James has gone to him.
Well, he's at his absolute best today. As I said a moment ago, I haven't seen someone play as well as this for a while.
Bruce, I don't think it matters what player goes on him now, as long as the player's given the brief. Just don't let McLeod get a kick, and you don't get a kick either.
Bruce, who's on the bench for the Power?
Always Cockatoo, Collins, Bishop, Polton, and I'd like to see Brogan come out there and get some of his hand onto the ball, because at the moment Primus gets beaten in the ruck pretty easily.
Fowlers and Wanganeen's gone in the back pocket.
Thanks to Neil. Welsh's little one's good. Rashudo's kick two.
Wanganeen on Barty.
Bruce, they're just killing them around the dispute contests. I mean, every time the ball is in dispute and it's free, you just time and time again seeing extra Crows players at the contest. Another thing they're doing extremely well today is they're pushing forward to the play. They're backing their players in, get the ball, and then there's a free player moving forward.
Now, we saw McLeod goal from here, but this is the kick that Neil Curley was talking to prior to the match, girls. Not quite right on the line, but this is going to be a hard kick, Neil, isn't it?
Yeah, it's right into the teeth of the wind.
Graham, this is a game breaker, this type of kick, isn't it?
This is you go from 5 to 6. 5 is manageable halfway through, or 5 minutes into the second quarter. 6 is a bit harder.
I think he'll get the distance okay.
He'll keep it low, you'd think. Well, he's kicked it high. It's a great kick.
Shit.
He's kicked the goal. The captain's got 3. Well,
Mitre 10 understands that getting the right advice when and where you need it can save you a lot more than money.
I'll tell you when it's level. I'll hold it.
That's why we've introduced the Mitre 10 advice line. 136310.
All right, so, yeah, we can fix it.
So now you can call any day and get expert on-the-job solutions that will save you time, money, and even face.
I'm going to have to chisel a bit off the other
Brogan ready to come on, Bruce Lindner, so they heard your call.
Bit lucky.
6-goal margin is pretty big, but Port can kick goals in a hurry. But I tell you what, they need one in a hurry right now. Primus wins it. Johnson read it. Held up. He's in trouble. High tackle, free kick. Good decision.
Fellas, some of the things that have happened for the Crows today, I think the Port will need Mandrake to win this.
No, but they're more energetic, they're more alert, they're more enthusiastic. That's the big difference.
They've kicked some freak goals too.
Well, Sydney did it, didn't they, against the Crows? And you get a feeling sometimes that a team's on. Little kick by Edwards, okay, to Stenglein. So Stenglein in trouble. Handball to McLeod, half volley. He's not going to miss too much. Back to Edwards. Edwards deep in the pocket. He finds his man. It's Goodwin. Now he's too far out. He's a good kick, Goodwin. He could put it to the top of the square here. What does he do? He goes short. He wants Marsh. He's got him. Gee, Marsh has been important.
Graham, one big difference in the Crows game today, I heard you talking about it early today, they've actually carried the ball through the line, so their system and efficiency has been so much better today.
But they've had options, though, Tony. It's the sign of a team in really good form and in a good state of mind when you look at the field and you say, where are all these Crows players coming from?
Centre breaks have been seen. We'll get our statistician to give us the centre breaks in a moment.
Boys, I didn't quite get that interchange right. Brogan was coming on, but the interesting move is Guerrera come off.
So Marsh, this will test the big fella. Coming. I think he's missed it. Or has he? Has he missed it? He has.
Well, Darren Jarman was clapping, trying to con the goal umpire.
You nearly get the feeling with Marsh today that Gary Ayres has gone to him early in the week and said, look, today, Ben, on Sunday against Port Adelaide, you're going to play out of the full forward area and you're going to make an impact on the game.
7-3 the centre breaks.
Yep, unbelievable. Matty Primus now going to the forward pocket.
Good kick to Wanganeen, but it stretched him a bit. Clark's been so important. Goodwin kept his eye on it. Well played, though, by Brogan. Port get out to Wakeland, or fumble. Jarman almost. Gallagher back to Bickley. He's got Welsh in the pocket. Bad kick, Bickley. It's a terrible kick. He had players loose and he went the wrong way. Mead panicked to Edwards. Smothered. Jarman. Paxman, well played Paxman, terrific stuff. Mead, here's a chance, here's a real chance. James,
wide.
To Brogan, just under Nick Stevens, even better. Lovely kick to Harwood, got him, terrific mark. They've got players everywhere here.
Primus by himself.
Goes wide, finds Francis. Gee, Bickley and Edwards' turnovers are pretty important there. Adelaide had them on toast.
Geez, Primus has been in space for well over a minute. Port Adelaide just had to move the ball forward quickly, find the big man on his own.
I think I'd rather have Fabian Francis from there, though, Tony, wouldn't you?
This will tell a tale. He won't miss if they've got a chance. Leans back, kicks it, and kicks the goal.
Excuse me. Can you tell me how to get to the city, please?
Oh, yeah. Keep going straight until you see a sip and save and turn left. Now you make a right past the sip and save on the corner. You turn left there. Now, there's another sip and save a bit further on. You'll know you're on the right road because you see a big sip and save sign. Don't turn there. Just follow straight through and you're pretty much in the city centre. Then again, if you want to go the quick way, turn right at the sip and save.
50 entry. So indicative of how the Crows have controlled the ball around the midfield.
That's domination, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So Port get it back now to 31 points. They trail by 37. Brogan versus Clark, Franco. So they change the mix and they get it out of the centre. Well done, Port. Montgomery to half forward. Corns caught underneath. Dew, Stengline. Hart wants the handball. Missed by Gallagher. Dew with strength. It finds Treadray. It was a hard ball to control. He threw it away, Treadray. The handball came outwards. Good play by Edwards. To Johnson, to Gallagher. Welsh just a little shoved by Montgomery, and then Welsh did really well. Very well. Terrific play, Cockatoo Collins. Wonderful stuff. The game is alive now. You feel as if Port realise they have to make a move right now, don't they?
Well, Jay Cockatoo Collins wanted that. He changed his boots to his Mouldens and slipped over. But he wanted it. Watch, he's desperate, he's intense, but he slips here.
Gee, Brogan's a bit unlucky. He gets a free kick, surely. Good move here.
Just settle down, Josh Franco and Kane Johnson.
So it comes back to Brogan. Port a bit lucky because James was about to run into Bickley.
I think this is a good move with Brogan on. Just adds a little bit of height and it worries the Crows just a little bit, I think.
Cockatoo Collins hungry for the footy. He needs to get involved. He knows that. Keeps it low. It's a dreadful kick. Johnson should have got a free kick. Did play for it. Terrific tackle, Corns. Over the top of Stevens, and now there's a free. Is that a Franco? Franco's really trying to get up the Crows here, isn't he?
There's too much aggravation in there. Just settle down and focus on the ball. Don't try and suck the other opponent in, particularly when you're behind.
Bigland's getting ready to replace Clark.
The other thing that's happened here is by Brogan coming into the ruck, Primus going to full forward, it's pushed Marsh to the goal square. So Marsh, who was playing full forward, now effectively playing full back.
Maybe Biglands will go back there. Here's Carr. Good tackle, smart. Dew, little kick.
No, not good enough.
Mark by Edwards.
He saw it, tried to chip it, but it wasn't big enough.
To Rashudo to Edwards. They get away the Crows. Lovely kick by Edwards. That's good vision to Stevens. So Adelaide at half-back.
Stood up pretty well then, didn't they?
Keeps it to Goodwin. Not a great kick, actually. Now Montgomery bangs it back. Stengline's a chance. And he takes a good mark. Just got over the top of Corns. Smart's on in the centre. Rashudo's on out wide. Stengline slow kick.
Silly boy. Nick Stevens only had to jump and turn, but he went straight at Mark Rashudo, and the free kick's given away.
Interesting here, Kane Johnson. He wanted to go to Johnson, but he was coming off the ground. So that's interesting, Curls. Biglands comes on. Johnson goes off. They keep the tools on.
That's a strange one.
Well, I reckon they want Marsh forward, and maybe Biglands goes for Primus. There's the kick to half forward. Wakeland. Franco, brilliantly done. Franco to James. Good kick. Here's a chance. Primus and Marsh. Primus did well. Marsh is injured. Primus brilliantly. Corns will kick a goal. Porter coming back.
I got the prints from the guy at the lab.
Scientist Snoopy, 104 new looks for Snoopy, Master of Disguise. Collect all 4 this week at McDonald's.
The car's like new. Andy didn't lose his rating 1.
At Amy, if you've held a rating 1 for the last 3 years, you keep it for life. So call Amy. Lucky.
Porter coming back. They've kicked the last two. It's really interesting that Marsh staying at full-back. I reckon Biglands is a better move back there. Free kick to the Crows.
Someone. Now
to Clark. He'll use Hart. So Hart off towards half forward. Good mark by Vardy on Wanganeen.
Not easy to do that. Out-judge and out-mark Gavin Wanganeen.
Port have kicked the last two. Francis and Corns the goal scorers. Corns with a couple now. Vardy to the pocket. Wide to Rashudo and out of play.
I mean, if you look at the positive side of Biglands going to full forward, I think from a structural point of view, at least the setup's still the same. If they keep Johnson on there, they don't have a tool on the full forward line. So putting Biglands there, the structure's the same. Whether Marsh goes forward and Biglands goes back on the Primus will open up shortly.
22 to 15 inside 50 at Crows advantage. Brogan and a ball up.
And also Biglands kicked 4 goals in the local comp last week up forward.
Might be slightly tougher here.
I tell you what, they're going to make
the
move. Marsh is going to the forward line. They're going to make the move, Curls.
That's right.
So Hart goes back. Biglands goes back onto Primus.
Well, it was obviously on actually. Just they couldn't get it happening earlier.
Edwards, Stevens, well done Edwards, Rashudo, Kingsley should have got a free. He was taken high and he gets it.
And it was a great attack on the ball too. He's earned the free kick. He just kept his nose over it, head through it, got hit high.
He's a wonderful player, Kingsley. He really is a good footballer. He's kicked wide.
Wrong side.
Jarman hasn't been involved too much. Cockatoo Collins there, boundary throw in.
When you're playing this ground and the breeze is going from the southwest, this is the last place. Oh, umpire hit there.
Rashudo running into the back, but
sorry.
Did say sorry.
Darren Jarman, just the one possession for the game.
Hasn't been in a lot of contests, has he?
No.
It's not as if he's out of form. He just hasn't really been in a lot of contests. Franco getting a good touch to Montgomery. Port getting on top, I think. Kick the centre half forward. Bassett versus Treadray. Bassett belts it away. Porter everywhere. Stevens, Francis. He's a wonderful kick. He's in the pocket, leans back and puts another one through. Here they come. They're running over the top of Adelaide at the moment, 6-9.
Well, it's just opened right up for Port Adelaide. We talked about the dispute contests and Crows getting numbers to the ball. Also, the Crows players running forward to the play. Port Adelaide is starting to do that now, and no better player to be doing that than Francis and Stevens, who are both involved in that movement. Francis is just terrific from around the 50-metre area on goal. He's the player, along with Stevens and Schofield, who are the ones that get Port Adelaide pushing forward. Certainly doing that now.
Well, Gallagher with a big job on Francis here.
Gallagher's had plenty of the ball, but Fabian Francis has been so important in these last 10 minutes.
Franco continuing to mount up, isn't he? He's got 13 possessions as well. Centre break's important. Clark goes straight at Brogan. It's been a good move by Mark Williams with Brogan. Kingsley, Port really on fire here. A miss by Schofield inside the range. Treadray, great handball. Stevens has got Cockatoo Collins. He uses him. Cockatoo Collins over the top, and the captain kicks the goal. Here they come. They're coming hard.
Just like Crown Force,
Edward, we're turning this into a community garden.
it's a spectacular garden makeover. But Crown Force never ended like this.
Not yet, my zucchini! Not to the Guinness Book people see it!
An all-new, all-crazy Dharma and Greg tonight. Then, could it be? Has Karen met her match?
I'm getting a little woozy from the boozies seeping from your enlarged pores.
Oh, honey, they're not enlarged. They're just in shock over that hair color.
Ha! Unlikely. Will and Grace tonight on 7.
Port have kicked 4 goals in about 9 minutes here.
And see, Shirley's come on for Gallagher onto Francis. The other move I'd be looking to make is to put Stenglein onto Stevens, who's starting to really get some free ball.
Port winning everything now. Within 2 goals. Running hard. Goodwin did very well against the flow. They need a goal, the Crows. Goodwin's kicked to half forward. Rashuto. At the back, Kingsley. Carr, McLeod. Kingsley. Bouncing ball, still with Kingsley, McLeod, Nilly, Kingsley, in trouble, back to Wanganeen, Wanganeen caught, back to Kingsley, well played Port Adelaide, to Montgomery, Forced to kick in a hurry. This bouncing ball's important. Shirley's come off the interchange. Little give okay. Edwards' kick is good. Out wide and finds Stevens on the burst. Uses the run of Goodwin. Starting to get involved. Little kick good. Cheetah might go all the way here.
They're everywhere.
Bickley to the pocket. Marsh got him. Wants to play on. He's called to play on.
Called to play on. He's out of bounds.
And Port come away. Wanganeen's kick is clever. Has it got the legs though? Vardy would love a goal. Go short. Jarman. Well, Wanganeen had to find the line, but he just couldn't. He was too far away.
I'm not sure you'd say it was a clever kick again if you had your time.
No, I probably wouldn't. At the time, I thought he was trying to put the angle on it to make it hard for the Crows.
The other thing that happened with that movement then, didn't that ball just sit up beautifully for Vardy? It just sat right up for him. The bouncing ball would have made it difficult.
It's a tough kick, isn't it?
But this man can do it, though. Darren Jarman can do anything.
This is a very hard kick.
Oh.
He's missed it. He's kicked 2 points today, Jarman.
Well, you give them a rap and they invariably let you down, but didn't even look confident with it. It wasn't Brent Guerrero. Josh Carr gave him a mouthful. Darren Jarman didn't like that, reacted quite aggressively to him. And here we go, Adelaide one-on-one on the kickoffs.
Bishop to come on for Port. Franco goes early.
Going to Marsh, I'd say, Bishop.
Wanganeen's the go-to. Perry to come in late. Wanganeen takes a wonderful mark. It's 50 metres, I reckon.
Well, he's moved off the line. Mark Bickley's thought he's played on. Hit him hard. Just watch him gets up. He moves off the line.
That's play on.
Mark Bickley says, but you've got to wait for the umpire.
He was also moving backwards as well as sideways. It's a good decision, I reckon.
I think Mark should have been a bit more prudent, but
it's a difficult one for a player, though. I mean, in that situation, it looks like he comes off the line. It's sure prudent and wait, but that instinctive decision, do I go and didn't I? Mark Bickley made it.
Wanganeen short to Treadray.
Might cost them a goal.
Treadray goes short to Primus. This is interesting. Now, Primus from 25 versus Treadray from 50.
I think I'd take Matty Primus from here, but just watch this again with Gavin Wanganeen. He gets up, moves off. Mark Bickley right there. He says, no, he played on. He played on.
Well, his first movement was side, and then I thought he was going back when Bickley got him. Anyway, here's Primus. The captain's kick one. The captain has kicked 2.
Feel the need for speed? Brace yourself for the next 7 blockbuster premiere.
The hell is that? Sounds like a train.
2 men, 2 crimes, 1 chain.
So what, you don't like white people now, is that it? No, I just don't like you.
The hottest ride since The Fugitive, with a twist you'll never see coming. The Matrix's Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin.
Let's do this.
Fled premieres tonight.
Yes, and Dean Brogan playing a role that he perhaps didn't think he'd get. He's the key ruckman. He's giving them drive from the centre.
So Bigland's against him now, Graham. Bad bounce. Brogan stands under it. Port winning all the centre clearances. Franco.
How'd he do that?
Back to Montgomery. Out wide to Stevens. They're running the Crows off their legs here. Stevens at centre wing uses Treadray. Kick wide. Got him. Just such a focal point, Treadray. He presents himself. Not a good kick. It's up, it's high, and Stevens takes the mark. Terrible kick.
Guys, just quickly, a triple change about to be completed. Howard for Corns, Bishop for Waitland, and Guerrero for Franco. And I think Neil might have been a bit early. I think Mandrake might have come on as well.
He came on, yep.
Kick out wide.
Clever.
Port inspired here. Montgomery to Brogan. Back to Montgomery. No chase from Welsh. Lovely kick. Schofield. What odds Port in front of half-time?
Yeah, we're pretty good at the moment. There's still about 4 or 5 minutes to go.
Schofield to centre half forward. Not a good kick. Smart underneath it. Almost. Ball comes forward. Nick Stevens. Good tackle from the back. Came from Stevens. Smart blazes away in a hurry. Perry. Brogan. Kingsley doing well here. McLeod suddenly quiet. Out wide to Carr. Carr goes to the pocket and finds Nick Stevens right on the line.
Now, it's not a hard kick from here today. It looks deep. It looks difficult. Right-hand post.
I tell you what, he's given it a ride right there behind.
Burton on for Welsh.
See, Matthew Clark has now gone back to full-back to pick up Primus in the goal square. Biglands comes into the ruck. Pick up Brogan.
I think it's desperation putting Matthew Clark to the back pocket.
So Rashudo gets it from Hart. Kick over the top. Gee, that's not a good kick because Treadray's coming in hard. Treadray getting very involved here. Bad kick again, Treadray. 2 in a row. Back to Rashudo. So they played Waxy for the moment. He had Stevens this side, and he's got Burton this side.
Burton running for him. Wants to get a touch.
Bruce, how important has McLeod been? Because he dropped the other game the last 7 or 8 minutes.
Absolutely, Neil. Spot on. Little kick.
They've taken him off the ball, though. He's gone to half forward.
Stengline. Back to Ben Hart. Ben Hart's kick. Vardy and late. Was not a good setup by the Crows. It's a bit panicky, wasn't it, the way they went forward there? James loads up, bangs to centre half forward, and a good mark coming back, Bassett. So Port have let themselves down in the last couple of attacks too. Comes out wide. Kick to Vardy. Now Vardy's got Jarman low. He's going to have to go high. McLeod, Perry's the go-to man. Goes early. Ball to the back. Free kick to the Crows for a push.
Yeah, Steve Paxman had to go, but he took the body rather than the ball.
Perry finds Burton. He'll run on here, Burton. He's got Jarman loose. Goes to the goal square. Porter got the numbers. Brogan front spot.
Well done.
Goodwin tries to take it off him. Brogan did well. And now Porter away. Francis de Guerra. Adelaide are caught on the hop here. All their players are on our side of the ground. Guerra's little one to Carr. He can go all the way to Schofield here. Schofield's on his own. Finds him now.
Too big.
At the back, Primus. Waits, goes back. Nick Stevens should kick a goal. Misses.
Doesn't.
Well, they had Adelaide on toast there, didn't they?
They had too many players and too much time, and sometimes you snatch at the ball. Matty Primus just snatched at it, didn't control it with the first grab. Got it to Nick Stevens, and he had too much time. He stopped and thought about it, measured the kick, and pushed it wide.
Johnson on for Bickley.
I mean, not only has McLeod gone out of the game, but Port's prime movers have certainly come into it in the midfield, particularly Stevens.
McLeod, good mark.
It's a great mark.
It's a terrific mark by the smallest player going for it in the front of the contest.
And in front of the ruckman too.
Kicks it wide. Kick to Burton. Burton should use Perry. He should have handball, but it might be all right. Hard ball here. Perry, oh, not a good... Gee. Now he'll take the mark, and he should use Kane Johnson or Rashudo. 50 metres against Francis. 50 against Francis.
Well, what did he do?
No, I think that was... France had no right to come in and do that. He came over the mark.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yep. He didn't have to push him. Had he just stood his ground, maybe the umpire would have said, look, come back, the mark is here.
Gee, this is a hard kick for Perry. This is a tough kick for him, isn't it?
Well, he's a left-footer, Bruce. There's a bit of breeze there, but it's bread and butter for forwards.
Well, if he kicks this, Adelaide should lead at half-time. That would give them a 2-goal lead.
Well, they need the goal too, because Port have just controlled the game in the second half of the quarter.
Port have kicked the last 5 goals of the match.
Yeah, it's a real steadying kick, isn't it? I mean, it's a goal the Crows really need. They need to go in at half-time with their noses in front.
50-metre penalty. Can he make it pay?
Oh, gee whiz. He simply hooked it right with a left footer.
So Perry misses. Mead comes off. I don't know if he's propping Mead, and Polton comes on.
The obstinacy of the Adelaide coaching staff by going one-on-one.
He's not well. He's not good, that bloke.
Mead's in trouble, is he?
I think he's got a bit of an ankle problem.
Well, he and Paxman Neal came into the game with a few problems, so the Prez, Bruce Lynn, will chase that up for us as Bishop at half-back, almost up to centre wing. Sells a dummy. He was a good player last week, Bishop, in a cameo-type role. Adelaide are doing well at half-back, but chance here for Harwood. Little kick's a good one. Guerra to run onto it. The bounce important. Well, he should have got rid of it in a hurry, and he didn't. Now Adelaide are in trouble. Oh, that's interesting. Primus a 3rd goal. What a handball by the Crows.
Can you tell me how to get to the city, please?
Oh, yeah. Keep going straight until you see a sip and save and turn left. Now, you make a right past the sip and save on the corner. You turn left there. Now, there's another sip and save a bit further on. You'll know you're on the right road because you see a big sip and save sign. Don't turn there. Just follow straight through. and you're pretty much in the city centre. Then again, if you want to go the quick way, turn right at the sip and save.
So Tyson Edwards finding Matthew Primus with a handball.
He was handballing to the movement of Ben Hart into where Ben Hart was moving, and when he looked up, to his horror, Matthew Primus was on the end of it, and he won't get a better handball from a teammate than that.
Blood rule. Primus before today, he kicked 1 goal this season. He's kicked 3 in the second quarter.
Well, it's a brilliant move, isn't it? I mean, he really was being beaten comprehensively in the ruck by Clark, and it's done 2 things. One is it's pushed Primus forward, and he's been an effective player there. The other thing it's done, it's made Adelaide have to react in their coach's box, and it's really unsettled them. So they've lost control in the midfield, but also in the big man department, both on their full back line and now on their full forward line.
Can one of you fellas tell me what position Mandrake's playing?
I'm just wondering where Darren Jarman is, Neil.
I used to think Darren Jarman is
centre-half back.
Centre-half back.
So he's gone back and Paxman's gone with him.
He's just gone to a floating half-back line player, loose player in the breeze, but Mark Williams hasn't allowed him to be loose. He's pushed Paxman with him.
He does play that role well, though. I mean, he's very smart in that role, and it's probably a good move. Maybe even a little too late. Could have been made 5 minutes ago.
Boys, I just had a quick look at Darren Mead, just clutching his right ankle a bit. Looks like it's just uncomfortable for him rather than not being able to play.
Well, I reckon Mark Williams has had one of the best quarters he's ever had as a coach in this term. His moves have really worked for the Power.
Well, he needed to, though, Bruce, because they were being beaten badly. I mean, the Crows were terrific. Port Adelaide have responded well.
Gary Ayres setting it up early, and Williams responding. So Port trailing Adelaide by point here at 9-5 to 9-6. Brogan a surprise packet. Goodwin. Adelaide desperate for a goal. McLeod, Goodwin, Jew off the ground. Oh, Jarman brilliant. Absolutely brilliant to trap it. It was a hard ball. Wide to Smart. Adelaide need one here. Uses the run of Johnson. Johnson could go a bit further.
No one going to him.
Runs to 60 metres. Brogan's got back. It's a chance for a goal. It's a goal. Johnson has kicked the goal.
Could Dean Brogan have got to it to mark it? Could he? It looked like he was waiting for it to bounce. Oh, he did very well to get back there. I was surprised to see him in the goal square when the ball was coming in. It looked like he was, I'll wait till it bounces and I'll take it, rather than make the effort to take the mark. But we might be unkind. Just watch the kick come in. There's Brogan there. Ooh.
It was a perfect bounce for the Crows, wasn't it?
And interestingly, Jarman goes in that floating roll across half-back and immediately has an impact on the game. He just knew what to do, Bruce.
His trap was just so clever.
That's a terrific move by Gary Ayres. I know it's late in the quarter to be doing it, but it set up a goal for them.
So Adelaide get a very important goal, and Port get an important free kick out of the centre.
Centre square infringement, and there's just no excuse for that.
No, Paxman pushed the player over the line.
It should be the other way around then.
Schofield gets it from Primus. Well done, Stengline to hold him up. Francis just a fit of the fumble. Shirley to Perry. Not clean, though, the Crows. Francis, Schofield, Shirley. Jarman, little toe poke, important. Vardy. Got pushed in the back, Vardy. No free kick.
Franco did well to get around him, tie him up. Josh Franco spent some time on the bench this quarter. But I'll tell you what, his work around the ball, particularly when the ball is in close. Just watch him get there. Hold. Umpire doesn't pay it. He's still got hold of him. Free kick.
Tyson Stengine's been a good player as well. He's gone into Jared Schofield and kept him quiet.
McLeod over the top, Primus. Johnson searching. Dew again off the ground cleverly. Late goal important. Paxman. Brett Burton. Looks in reasonable nick today. Kick's okay. Rashudo, there's not much time here. The siren sounds and he can't take the kick.
Played on.
What a good first half of footy. This match is set up perfectly, isn't it? The underdogs have got a little lead. The favourites have come back, but the underdogs, the Crows, get the last goal of the half to give them some momentum.
More importantly, Bruce, they shrugged off one of those hoodoos that they had. Everyone's saying they've fallen away so badly in the second quarter, they couldn't win the second quarter. Well, perhaps they did concede some there, but at least they put their noses in front at half-time. They'll be able to regroup. Gary Ayres will look at his matchups, and his strategy in the third quarter will be important.
So terrific first half. So much to look at here. And at half-time in the big match here in Adelaide, it's the Crows by 7 points over the Power. It's 66 to 59.
the controversial fuel additive that threatens to poison our waterways. Banned in the United States, now it could be used in South Australia.
There are so many ways that this stuff can find its way into the water system.
A special report on 7 News Monday night.
The car's like new. Andy didn't lose his rating 1.
At Amy, if you've held a rating 1 for the last 3 years, you keep it for life. So call Amy. Lucky.
Been waiting here for hours, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, I reckon we need some of those Viking bars.
Yeah.
You got the keys?
Yeah. Go for it.
New Viking with guarana! It's a chocolate bar with horns!
Put some makeup on, baby. Going for a drive. Take you to a little place where they turn the water to wine. Take you to a little place where they turn the water to wine. Everything gonna be alright. They turn the water to wine at the line.
Hello? Yeah, look, I want to quit smoking.
Sure, well, you've taken the first step. That's great.
Planning ahead is really important.
And I can send you a quit book if you'd like.
Call Quitline on 131 848. 131 848.
He couldn't believe he got straight through to me. He thought he'd get a computer.
If you'd rather speak to a real person, call Amy on 13 22 44.
Australian drama will take you somewhere else. Always Greener is coming soon to 7.
Welcome back. What a good game here. Adelaide led by 37 points at one stage and got the last goal of the first half and yet lead by just 7 at half-time. Port coming back hard, reducing an 18-point margin to a 7-point margin. 2 other games being played today. One at the Gabba between Brisbane, going for a 9th consecutive win. The Bulldogs on 9 wins like the Crows. Let's go up and have a look at the highlights of the first half.
He wants Chris Grant. He's got to beat a couple. Scott went with him. Grant tries to soccer off the ground down towards Liberatore Darcy. He finds Liberatore. Back again to Grant, this time onto the left foot. Tumbling it into the pocket. Mel Michael in front, but the mark taken behind by Trent Bartlett.
So he's going to try and thread the needle.
Pretty good looking kick.
And
It's a pretty good looking kick. Out the back door it spills now. The quick hand pass came from Craig Ellis. The shot in towards goal. He's got it.
Dimatina rides the bump, does well. On top in the middle again, the Bulldogs. Here's Darcy running. They get support. He gets it from Nathan Brown. He's on the wrong side for him, but he's still a great kick. And they've hit the front. Well done, Nathan Brown.
Just pops it over the top. A little too far for Headland. Away comes the Rolls Royce. He gives it off to Ackermanis. One bounce, then a chip with a left boot in towards full forward. No mark. They've got a ton of numbers there, though. And Desi Headland kicks the goal.
Back to White, and there's a loose man. He's just come on the ground. It's Power. Power now to run. Takes a bounce. He's got Ackermanis over the top. Can Ackermanis give it back to him, or is he going to go long this time? Onto the left from 60. Gee, that's a great kick. Oh. Left foot goal.
Bowen Smith just pleading there, so you know the deal. Look away if you don't want to know the scores. What a big game of the MCG today. 350th match for Craig Bradley. The Bombers versus the Blues. Here's the first half highlights.
Coming through. Hickmont, persistence pays. And Hickmont kicks across the face. Kuda brought it in. Lapin's a specialist at that. And it's 2 goals all. It's 2 on 1. Lucas had time to steady and gets it in for the ranging Hurd. Oh, who misjudged it? McVeigh judged it well. Judged it very well. Barnard all under pressure. Blues always in danger of taking the ball away. Hickmott's been the best player in the first quarter. Camberelli not far behind him, and he runs in and kicks a goal. Oh, there's a feeling about this game. This is Houlihan. Whitnell came through to make his presence felt. Quick kick. Silvani, he's inside 50, but doesn't have a shot. Went for the pass instead. He's been a big player so far for the Blues in his career. They're hoping for even bigger things from him, and that is a terrific kick.
That was just great play by James Hird. We're watching as he shorts pass and not good.
Lucas almost turned it into a goal. In fact, he did. Oh, he turned it into a goal-scoring opportunity anyway, and he's kicked it. Hird, Johnson gets them inside 50. Charging work from Solomon. Good work by Hand, Mercury, Ramanauskas. Oh, he just broke clear. That was great stuff to watch. It deserved the goal.
Gee, what a great game that looks at the MCG. Again, if you don't want to know what's going on, look away. Well, just like here, that's a beauty of the MCG. We'll take a break and we'll analyse the first half with Graham Corns after this.
This news update is brought to you by the Commonwealth Bank. Make it happen.
On 7 News at 6, police say their investigations into the murder of Westlake's mother of 3, Carolyn Matthews, are far from over. Last night, a second person was charged. American millionaire Steve Fossett is finally up and away, attempting another around-the-world balloon trip. And the Queen Mother has had trouble keeping her balance during festivities at Buckingham Palace to mark her 101st birthday. Details at 6.
What a way to spoil my nice afternoon.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. This car pulled out right in front of me.
Right in the back of the screen.
Such an incredible sight.
Big, if you should have seen the look on his face, the car has gone up on two wheels. I shudder to think what's going to happen. There's a set of shops, and he's heading straight for them.
Straight through this window. And there was glass everywhere, and then this other car came along and bang right in the back of him.
Apparently, he got straight through to Amy. Lovely girl, sorting out the whole thing from start to finish.
This RAA symbol has always represented the pinnacle in motor service standards. Earning RAA endorsement is the toughest test of all. One service group has set their sights on this ultimate goal, to offer nothing less than the highest standards, and so earn the right to display the RAA symbol at every one of its outlets. Not surprising, that group is UltraTune. There are 15 UltraTune service centres and they're all RAA approved. UltraTune, in tune with you and your car.
People in 29 countries have one thing in common. They all connect with Vodafone. Be part of something bigger.
The 2001 AFL season is shaping up to be a thriller, and we're giving you the chance to win a trip to Melbourne to share in the action of this year's grand final. All you have to do is call 1902 555 993 and tell us who won this blockbuster game between Geelong and Adelaide in round 18 last year.
Can he get a shot at goal? Now he gets it back to Corey. The youngsters! Springs and...
Be a part of 2001's grand final fever and keep watching 7 Sunday telecasts for more chances to win.
He couldn't believe he got straight through to me. He thought he'd get a computer.
If you'd rather speak to a real person, call Amy on 13 22 44.
Just a reminder about Name a Game. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Adelaide that have got all the Showdowns so far. Every game, every team, every week, 1800 035 665. Maybe they've got the ones when their team wins, Graham, and not the others. What do you think of the first half?
Well, it's a captivating game of football. The Crows looked as though they were really serious about playing, and well, we saw that interception there, but there was about 3 or 4 of those that caused turnover, which resulted in Crows goal. Andrew McLeod, he was just irrepressible. They couldn't stop him, and he kicks this goal here, and that's pretty straightforward to the one he kicked at the other end, but he was everywhere.
He died a little at the end of the second quarter, but boy, they set it up early here, the Crows, in the second quarter, into the breeze, didn't they?
And sometimes that second quarter lead can be misleading. They got to six goals out in front. Andrew McLeod here takes his... Now, this is really interesting. Watch him. Bounces, looking ahead, looking for options. Then he realises he can kick the goal, and he just puts his head down and goes at it. That's a class piece of football.
They've had a couple roll through the Crows, and then Port got on top. Brogan went into the ruck. Primus went to full forward.
And found the ball. I mean, there's no doubt. He puts one out here to Chad. Doesn't take it, just taps it out. Chad, well, what am I going to do? I'll go along the ground.
Just kick 2.
Yeah, the safest way to do it. Spent some time on the bench there. Josh Franco, I really liked his working close. And Brent Montgomery, even though he came off then, was also good across half-back.
And Stevenson, Francis with 2 second-quarter goals.
Fabian Francis, he was pretty rugged early, but came on with 2 goals and enjoying that one too.
So that's the scoreboard. Port having a real dash at the Crows, with Johnson's running goal, giving Adelaide a little bit of breathing space. They lead 10-9, maybe also with the scoring end in this term. So a really big quarter coming up. Match stats are just so even here, Graham, and I guess you're not surprised.
Well, the turnovers are the interesting one, Bruce, and what they don't show is the tackle count. Adelaide's tackle count is so much higher than Port Adelaide's, and the clangers, the mistakes that Port Adelaide have made, particularly in the first quarter and a half, they're greater too, which contributes to the turnover, but everything else is pretty even.
Probably a good sign for Port. They're within 7 points with all of that. So that's the situation there. Our Mitsubishi Player of the Week last week was Michael Voss. What a season he's having so far.
Mitsubishi Player of the Year. The Lions made it 8 in a row with their win over the Kangaroos, and their skipper Michael Voss is the Mitsubishi Player of the Week. Voss ranged across the midfield and was instrumental in getting the ball to the Lions' forward line, where Bradshaw and Notting peppered the goals. He finished the match with 17 kicks, 9 handballs, and tackled ferociously.
Great player that he is, Michael Voss, and what a captain. The Lions doing really well again this season. Just a reminder about the book, The Heart of the Game, celebrating 45 years of footy on television.
The perfect gift is Heart of the Game, celebrating 45 years of football on television. Order now at i7sport.com.au and you'll receive free a CD of famous footy commentary. Heart of the Game. You've seen the shows, now the book.
Having a new car warranty means what goes gets fixed. But you have to go back to the dealer for servicing, or your warranty goes. Right? Wrong. UltraTune can service your new car from day one, and your warranty keeps running as smoothly as your car. UltraTune. In tune with you and your new car, and your warranty at 15 RAA-endorsed locations.
Teachers are kissing students.
What? You kissed Dana Poole?
If you want my resignation, you got it.
Students are getting caught by teachers. And teachers are getting with teachers. And that's all before the lunch bell. Monday on Boston Public.
You know we're going to my mother's for dinner tonight?
Yes.
And you know how she likes to pile up your plate? Well, you don't want to ruin your appetite.
No. Just want to look at your mother's cooking, I'll do that.
You do have a microwave at work.
At least you can always count on Glad.
Like the wallabies we proudly support, Wolf Blass is always at its peak.
Join Channel 7's finance and business specialist David Koch when he presents Mr Michael Carmody, Tax Commissioner for the Australian Taxation Office, guest speaker at the Australia-Israel Chamber of Commerce Business Luncheon, midday Wednesday, August the 22nd at the Adelaide Festival Centre. The Australia-Israel Chamber of Commerce Business Luncheon provides a unique forum to develop professional relationships within the community of Adelaide's decision makers. Proudly supported by Optus. Phone for details or visit the website.
Unhappy with your performance? Then cheer up.
Broke my windscreen. Broke my windscreen. Woe is me, what shall I do? Simply phone us, instant windscreens. And we'll fix it just like you. What's a number? What's a number? I can't stand it anymore. Instant windscreens is our number. 132 444.
The footy season is shaping up to be a thriller, and we're giving you the chance to share in the action. For your chance to win a trip to Melbourne and 2 tickets to the 2001 Grand Final, be watching Seven's telecast this Sunday.
This marriage will take a very unexpected twist.
I'm not going to wait until you decide that this marriage is over.
You'll just have to watch
Otherwise, what?
to see where it's going to end.
There's an emergency.
Rose?
Tuesday on the Seven's All Saints.
Well, we've been lucky with the match so far and with the weather, with the forecast we had a couple of days ago. Sun shining brightly, plenty of breeze about, but hardly any chance of any rain. How well is this match set up, Neil Curley? It's just perfect, isn't it? With the Crows leading the underdogs by 7 points.
Well, it's a super game. It's the one everybody in South Australia is wanting to see at this stage of the situation. Weather looks great behind us, Bruce. I don't see any problems there. And that second quarter, the hoodoo for the Crows struck again.
Well, it certainly did, and Port were able to get that player Mandrake onto the field. Curls, you're a bit premature.
He played a crocodile game, that bloke.
Look, this game is set up sensationally. A top 4 spot for Port to keep their finals hopes alive for the Crows, and some bragging rights here in South Australia. Hey, this half of football should come right down to the wire, Curls.
And I think, as you said, Bruce, I thought Mark Williams that quarter was very, very good with his coaching moves.
Neil, if you look over your left shoulder and Prez, you look behind you, Port have all gone as a group to half forward right on the left of the screen. Now they come away from that in front of their fans and off they go. So
well, they did that last week, Bruce, against Essendon when Mark Williams was addressing him, and took him right over in front of his crowd there, and they're very vocal over there. So Mark obviously trying to draw as much as they can out of the crowd here.
Do you reckon that helps you get the football, Bruce?
It doesn't.
I did last week, mate.
You're sounding
I'm not
like...
talking to you, Bruce. I'm talking to Bruce.
Curls, you're sounding like Malcolm Blight when you talk like that. Good on you, Curls.
All the best.
What do you reckon, Cornsey and Tony? Jarman is forward, which you expected to happen, Graham. And I'm just trying to find Wanganeen.
Wanganeen, well, he was on Vardy and played very well on Vardy, so which was a surprising move by Mark Williams. Quite a courageous one to take Wanganeen out of the attack to put him in defence. Peter Vardy trying to run him around, you can see there, but no pick him up.
Well, what a half of footy it promises to be. There's a lot at stake in this city when these two teams play each other, particularly today with the repercussions at the end of the day on the ladder. Been a great game so far. Both supporters have had lots to cheer about. Let's see how it unfolds. Primus looks dangerous to me. What a quarter he had. 3 goals in that second term. Inboard to James. James' handball okay. To Nick Stevens. Stevens, little left footer. Good one to Treadray. Got it.
It was a good move by Nick Stevens because everyone expected him to spin onto his right. But he's deceived them all. Gone onto his left. Gets the high fives from Fabian Francis. Maybe that's a bit premature. But spun onto his left and a nice little jinking left foot. Warren Treadray, very good at ankle level.
It's about the same angle as he had last week. Probably 5 metres further out when he kicked the winning goal against the Bombers, isn't it?
Different breeze, though.
He's been good, Treadray. He hasn't kicked a goal so far, but I thought he had a very good first half. Wasted a couple of balls deep in the second quarter. Kick, pretty good. Port get the first one. So that means that Port Adelaide has kicked 7 of the last 8 goals in this match.
And the player who was instrumental in that movement was Primus and Nick Stevens. Primus, of course, had a poor first quarter, come back well at full forward in the second. looks sharp early. Nick Stevens had a quiet start early, but he's come into the game nicely. 12 possessions. I still think he's the player that Gary Ayres should put Stengline or Robert Shirley on to try and cut him out of the game. He covers the lines. A dangerous player.
Adelaide by a point. Primus was important a moment ago. He won the ball out of the centre. Does it again. Kane Johnson got a very important little kick. Perry. Well done to Johnson. To Smart. Comes back inboard. Back to Goodwin. He's a left footer, so it's okay. Gallagher has to sit and wait. Mead over the top. Good to see Mead back. Important play for Port here. And Mead's kick along the line is a good one, and it'll be a boundary throw. Good in terms of the results.
Yeah, the kick forward from Simon Goodwin was too high, and poor Gallagher had to sit underneath it and allow Meady to run onto it.
Byrne, Shirley, Walsh and Bigland. So Walsh on the interchange here. Byrne hasn't had a run. Edwards. Bickley, ball up.
Right, here we go for the Crows. We have the same Byrne, Shirley, Welsh and Biglands.
Thanks, Neil.
Now, isn't it interesting that Mark Williams has gone with Josh Carr and Andrew McLeod again?
Primus, G-Yerk. That's Clark, no free kick. Clark upset with Primus here, and it'll be a ball up.
James picks up Simon Goodwin. As Graham said, Carr on McLeod.
Primus looks like he means business. There's the interchange, Bruce Linner for Port.
Yes, Wakelin, Polton, Guerrera and Brogan.
It's a strong interchange, doesn't it? Wakelin, I wonder if his knee's okay. He's looking like he's rugged up a bit there. Smart, almost. Left footer. Just missed by Nick Stevens. Perry to run hard. Stevens, not a good handball. Puts the gun on Franco. Bickley was important. Mead versus Vardy. Ball up.
Well, it was a good contest. Nick Stevens saw the bouncing ball and he ran hard at it. Ian Perry ran equally as hard. Both players just gritted their teeth and the ball spilled. And Mark Bickley pushed it forward, but Darren Mead able to get back there and desperation, scrambling, diving, held it in.
Gary Ayres looking composed, just casting an eye over everything. Rashudo, 3 goals in the first half. Back to Burton. He could be the wild card, Burton, in the second half. Kicks to half forward. Port, the only player really going for it in the end was Montgomery.
Yeah, the breeze just carries those high balls a bit further, and the pack invariably finds themselves under it. Brent Montgomery loves to fly from behind, so read it nicely.
Paxman's short for him, but it's a dangerous kick. He's going to come to Chad Corns, who's made a long lead. So Stevens and Corns. Stevens tries to wrap him up. Corns' front spot did well. James's little kick could be important here. The Crows need it to go out, and it's not going to. Now, Dew's on. Schofield's got Dew. He's going to go to him now. He'll kick to Dew. It's a lovely kick. It's wonderful football. It's a goal. Porter in front.
At these prices, don't miss being a part of the action at Repco.
Bendix, the best-known name in brakes. Bendix Ultimate Disc Brake Pads designed for high-performance vehicles from just $89.95. Bosch, Super 4 spark plugs improve performance and economy, 4-pack $38.95. Munro SensorTrack delivers comfort when you want it, control when you need it. Shockers from $129 a pair. Shell, Helix Super 5 litre $17.95 and multigrade 4 litre $11.45.
At Repco, we know what it is, we know where it goes.
Tyson Edwards, the player playing on Jared Schofield, if he's going to play on that free-flowing play, really needs to tighten up on him.
Well, Port Adelaide here have kicked 8 of the last 9 goals. They're going to be hard to stop now, aren't they? Edwards hacks it out, not bad, did well. Perry keeps his eyes on it, he's got courage, Perry. McLeod. Short to Burton. Just feel he might play a role here, Burton.
Bruce, he looks a completely different player than last week. He was really struggling with his fitness last week. He just looks a different player today, moving through the lines well.
I'll give you a scary stat. He hasn't kicked a goal at Football Park this year.
And Bruce, he's not wearing his knee brace either.
No, he kicked 5 at the MCG and 4 at the Gabba. He might have kicked 1 at Footy Park. No, it won't get there. Marsh. Port over the line. Marsh was holding those in the first half and is through for a point.
That was an interesting kick from Burton because the breeze behind him and he didn't carry the distance.
10-7 to 11-5. If Adelaide are to win, they must make their move now because Port have controlled this game really from halfway through the second quarter. They trailed 9 goals to 3. They now need 11 to 10.
Adelaide setting a screen here.
Paxman wide. They're a great second-half team, Port. Bishop, good mark. Perry held up by Mead, who was good. Wanganeen to Franco. To Wanganeen. Good play. Wanganeen on the burst. Treadray's the go. Out wide. No, Harwood it goes out wide too. Not a good kick. And Hart runs it over the line with him.
Well, it must be a real luxury for Mark Williams to have a guy like Wanganeen who can play it at the goal square. He's dangerous up there. He leads hard. Takes a great mark and kick a goal. But you throw him to the half-back line, just creates so much run.
Primus, Carr, McLeod getting busy, but he's getting his kicks at the wrong end as far as Adelaide's concerned. Burton making a presence, isn't he, Burton?
He's finding the ball, finding it a bit too deep, though.
It's a good kick, this one. To Goodwin, the umpire got in his road. Goodwin's handball to Perry. Perry finessing to Stevens, OK. He can go all the way here, Stevens. He plays on. Not sure if he was called to play on.
Gee whiz,
terrible kick.
Strange decisions.
Was he called to play on, Neil?
No, he just chose to play. He saw his opponent down, so he thought he'd take advantage.
Well, he was almost within range, wasn't he, with the wind behind him?
Behind him, you'd think so, but I think he thought if he got to his feet quickly, he'd spin. He did just save 10 metres. Now, see the umpire just getting in the way there. It doesn't impede Simon Goodwin.
March wins the tap. James has been a very good player all year and a good player in this game. Red at best, kicks out wide. Treadray just taps it down in front. Well done by the Crows, though. Francis, Gallagher, out of play.
Yeah, Port Adelaide won't be too unhappy with the ball that side if they can run it up.
So, where do Adelaide get their lift from here?
Well, McLeod is giving them a lift. I mean, McLeod's been pretty good in this third quarter, but they're just going too wide.
Stevens, down to the other Stevens. That's Nick. To Francis, well played. To Franco. To Jew. Jew unloads. To half forward. Good courage shown there by Bassett.
He kicked blindly, Stewie Jew.
Bassett wide to Gallagher. Gallagher short to Rashudo. Adelaide very wide here. That's the problem for them. Goodwin well played. Stretched his man, comes in board. Promising kick to Johnson. Johnson doesn't take the mark. Should have. Primus, Wanganeen getting so much of it. Franco to Treadray. Harwood wants it deep and long. Treadray gives him a chance. Bassett's in trouble.
It was a good kick. It set up a fair way, which it went into the breeze.
Harwood's got Corn short.
No, he's just in range, I reckon.
Well, Kane Johnson's mark at the top of the 50 just had to be taken. Kane would be disappointed with that.
It's a great kick by Goodwin to him, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was. It straightened up nicely, put it to where the ball needed to be.
Harwood, first game for the season. Sprays it. Mark Stevens takes the mark. Plays on immediately to, in fact, cut off a bit to Tyson Edwards. Edwards out wide to Bickley. Good mark by Bickley. It was important early, Bickley. Then gave away a contentious free kick, I guess you could say. 50 metres, which resulted in a goal at the other end.
Bruce, the areas where the Crows need to win this quarter is when the ball's in dispute, they need to control it and they need to use it efficiently, which is what they did in the first quarter, and they haven't done so far this quarter.
Free kick to Primus. Franco gets it. Goes to full forward. Cockatoo Collins, cleverly done. Got rid of his man. He's had a quiet day. Stengline's been outstanding, I reckon. Boundary throw-in.
Port Adelaide, on the other hand, have started the quarter well, and they are using the ball well, as opposed to early in the game they didn't.
If Adelaide can hold here, because Port are throwing everything at them, they're right on top, Port. If Adelaide can hold, they'll give themselves a chance.
Yeah, into the breeze coming home, though, that might be a factor.
Bickley tries to hack it out. Clever by Harwood. Franco, Stengline, well done. Gee, played on.
That was touched, I think.
Kane Johnson's in trouble, did well. To throw against Kane Johnson, free kick to Port.
Yeah, now, who's going to take this? Chad wants it. Kay chases. I think I might give it to Jay Cockatoo Collins. It's interesting.
Gee, it's a hard call.
That's a hard decision. He's pushed it out with his fist. Now that's...
He's trying everything to get it out, isn't he?
I mean, a big game like this, it's like a final, isn't it? I mean, the umpires should just let it go. I mean, just don't be seen. Make the decisions when they're there to be made. If it's a 50-50, just let the game go. I mean, it's been a terrific game. It'll continue to be. You don't need umpires changing the course of the game. Decisions like this can.
Cockatoo Collins, if he kicks this, Port would have kicked 9 of the last 10 goals.
It's missed it, I think.
Too careful. He missed a couple with the hamstring. That must have put doubts in his mind, the hamstring. He's had such a wonderful year. Just struggling here, Cocky, isn't he? Remember the kicker to the man in the first quarter?
Yeah.
You got both boys, Wakeland and Cockatoo Collins, coming back, both struggling.
Thanks, Neil. So, Chad Corns did well and finds the line.
Well, there's a little nudge in the back there. The Crows crowd were calling for the free kick.
Kane Johnson off, paying the penalty for that drop mark.
So Robert Shirley comes on to probably tag somebody, you would think. Bit of a stalemate at the moment. Port, though, attacking hard. Chad Corns, importantly, to Bickley. He needs to use it here, Bickley. Uses the run of Rashudo. Rashudo will go to McLeod. It's a high ball. McLeod early. Gee, he is in unbelievable form, McLeod.
He has got the best hands in the competition.
Jarman, can he take a mark on the forward 50? Paxman doing really well on Jarman.
Kept his feet. Kept his feet, but ran out of space.
So Adelaide forward here. Good setup there, Rashudo and Bickley using it.
It was a good setup by Bickley. Actually, that's a piece of play he should have done in Melbourne earlier in the year. Somebody sitting off the contest.
Bigland's on for Clark.
Marsh to Shirley. Wanganeen. Had a good quarter, Wanganeen, down back on Vardy, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's steady back there, isn't he? He just holds them together under pressure.
Crows finding goals hard to get, aren't they? Nick Stevens to Schofield.
To Nick Stevens. With danger here.
Through the centre. This is an important ball. Carr runs hard. Oh, Carr was wonderful. Bickley went hard at him and Carr kept his eyes on the footy. He's as brave as you'll get. And just throws away as Bickley has to really suck it in. Good mark by Treadray. That could be one of the plays of the day for Port. Treadray loads it up. Harwood's been important, I reckon. At the back of Bassett. Ball comes to ground. Franco coming back, is it, to the Crows?
Yeah, I think that looked like a free kick.
How's
just watch him, keeps his eyes on the ball.
It's just outstanding.
Yeah, Mark Bickley just as committed from the other side of the pack, but Josh got there first. Strong body, strong mind.
Gallagher's kick. Montgomery out of play.
And they're drying up the Crows. They're drying up.
Can't find a way home, Neil, can they?
No, they're just drying up a little bit. And Jarman and Gallagher are both down.
It's what happened against the Swans, didn't it? They just couldn't find a way home. On that occasion, the Swans kicked 16 of the last 20 goals of that match. That was 3 weeks ago.
They're still in it, though.
Oh, they're in it for sure. And the fact that the Port haven't been able to put them away is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Cockatoo Collins miss. Big change in the game, isn't it? Gallagher read it pretty well. So Adelaide persisting. Perry brought it to the ground, but Schofield brilliant. Well played to Kingsley. Kingsley down the line. Shirley versus Franco. So that's why Shirley's there. Boundary throw in. Shirley to run with Franco.
What the Crows are going to need to do, Bruce, is if Port Adelaide at the moment are controlling the football, as we see Vardy come off, Scott Welsh comes on, James Byrne getting ready to come on as well. The Crows have to make the most of their opportunities when they do get it inside 50 at the moment. The problem is they can't get it there.
Goodwin's kick towards the line, and it's out of play. So Byrne getting ready. Welsh has come on for Vardy. So Welsh on to Wanganeen. Byrne first run today. Brogan getting ready to come on.
And I think so. They'll probably try Primus to the pocket again. I guess Harwood or Cockatoo Collins may be off.
Harwood off, Graham.
Shirley, Bickley, Primus will hold it up. So a free-flowing opening half has suddenly become a real arm wrestle.
Well, that's an indication of how desperate the teams are. Port Adelaide have tightened up in that area because the Crows they just had so many players around the ball, and their attack on the ball and winning it in close was so good. Port Adelaide have made that contest. Now it's an ugly scrap.
Biglands, clever enough. Perry, Shirley went straight to Schofield. Schofield, wonderful handball to Stevens. Stevens to fall forward. Harwood and Hart. Hart did very well. Bassett's in a bit of strife, but he did okay. The kick to Smart. Now the bounce is important here. It's a good bounce for Smart. Must use the footy. Went along the line and found it.
That's a great place kick. I don't know that he meant to do it, but He did it particularly well. He had nothing on forward.
Gee, Robert Shirley nearly paid the penalty, didn't he? The handball straight to Schofield. Ben Hart stood tall at the back when they needed him. Welsh. Crows with a chance. McLeod, clever. Bickley goes low. Not a bad kick to centre-half forward. Rashido, very bad footy. Poor football by the captain because it was a contest and he gave up the free kick.
Gallagher off for Byrne.
Kingsley short to Paxman.
Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
Finds the line.
The entry before when the Crows went forward, that's exactly what we're talking about when if Port Adelaide are going to dominate the midfield and the Crows have less of the ball, when they do go forward, they just have to make it work.
Smart. Read it well. Brogan. What an influence he had. Stevens brilliant. Francis just missed Franco, but then comes again. Gets it out. Porter starting to get on top. Schofield, James, Nick Stevens, they're running forward hard, the midfield now. They're stretching Adelaide's legs. Stevens sets it up. Primus and Treadray. Treadray, what a mark. We talked about him before the game, being the outstanding big forward on the ground. And he's about to kick a second goal in the third quarter here.
Well, the ball's into the breeze, so it sits up nicely for him. He gets the jump over Nathan Bassett, who always plays in front. And tantalisingly just takes it with the fingertips on the second grab. It nearly got away from him, but he just drew it in.
Port need this goal because they're so far on top in general play. We're right behind him. He's got it.
The car's like new. Andy didn't lose his rating 1.
At Amy, if you've held a rating 1 for the last 3 years, you keep it for life. So call Amy.
Lucky. I got the prints from the guy at the lab.
Scientist Snoopy, one of 4 new looks for Snoopy, Master of Disguise. Collect all 4 this week at McDonald's.
8 marks to Treadray, 2 goals. He's been the key big man on the ground up forward. I know Primus kicked 3 in a cameo role in the second term.
Now, Fabian Francis has come off the wing onto the bench. Che Cockatoo-Collins has gone onto the wing, and Matty Primus has gone to the forward pocket.
James has been important. Corns versus Stevens, been a good duel. Stevens wins out. Good kick too to Smart. He's had his moments, Smart, today. He's been okay. Adelaide just needs some clean footy here. Biglands.
Dropped it.
Brogan to Mead. Biglands has hurt himself. To Kingsley. Oh, they're on here. Corns to full forward. Not a bad kick to the front of the square. Missed by Stengline. In trouble, Hart. Ball up. Bigland's still in trouble.
And he landed flat on his back.
I think it's wind. I think you'll find.
Just landed flat on his back. He'll watch up, dang. Oh, really? Didn't seem to land that hard.
Let's hope he's okay. Primus versus Hart, bit of a mismatch. Edwards held on to, gets a free kick. Biglands is off the ground. Clark comes on.
Bruce, they've got 3 marking players inside 50 now. Port Adelaide 3 tools, that is. Primus, or Harwood as well, Corns and Treadray up there. So they certainly look dangerous.
Edwards goes short to Bickley. Adelaide are on the ropes a bit here, aren't they? To Matthew Clark, who's come off the interchange. Oh, he'll be all right, I think. He's going to have to run it out of play.
Now, if he's consistent, he's not. Well, that's Michael Avon, the umpire. He gave it a free kick against Adam Kingsley in the first quarter. Now, to be consistent, even though the ball was out of bounds, I guess he had to do the same then.
Boys,
now, Matty Clark thinks he's out of bounds, and therefore there's no problem about holding the ball.
Here's Nick Stevens getting so much of the footy. Long kick. This is the marking forwards. They're going hard and bounced it through.
Guys, there can be no excuses from the umpiring decisions favouring either side because this is the first time we've got 3 umpires all from South Australia.
There's Biglands on the interchange. So he's trying to suck them in. Hart's kick to Burns. So Burns with fresh legs here. He should run away from Treadray. Well, he could have run all the way there. Kick wide to Perry. Perry over the top. Bishop out of play. Is that holding the ball? No, that's a good decision. Boundary throw.
Crows fans want it. They want it badly.
So James Byrne had to do better there, Bruce, didn't he? I mean, he really had... Perry was out in front. He had to hit him on the chest so they could control the football. Now it's a 50-50 again.
Clark holding on to Brogan. Goodwin. Back to Byrne. Byrne hooks back. Montgomery in the box seat. Got a bad bounce. Corns attacks. Perry. Nick Stevens. Brogan. Paxman is having a wonderful match now. Out wide.
It's not going to go out.
Mark Stevens a chance. Due to run hard at him. Stevens did very well to Stenglein. Stenglein's little toe poke okay to Rashudo. Rashudo, good first half. Centering kick. Finds Marsh. Marsh takes them on. Handball's okay. Can Bickley kick the goal? Hits the post.
Just enough pressure there. Bill Marsh looked quite good trying to get around the man on the mark, but didn't quite do so. Mark Bickley's pounced on it, and the Port Adelaide player, was it Nick Stevens who made the effort to get to him?
It was a good chase, wasn't it?
Definitely.
Now the Crows go man on man, and Chad Corns is away. He's got Mead short. He'll go long to Treadray versus Bassett. And that's probably symbolic of Adelaide man on man. Second kick mightn't have worked, but the ball's between centre wing and half forward.
Yeah,
not a bad place for Port.
It was a great kick down the line. Chad Corns had nothing to kick to. Just builded it long. Ball goes out of play. And this is one of the problem areas for the Crows as well. At these 50-50 contests, Port Adelaide are just winning the ball.
Again, Franco. Nick Stevens to fall forward. Primus held on to. Smart. He's held on to. Free kick. Must come to Smart.
Geez, they were lucky because there were 5 Port Adelaide players around the ball.
They were lucky. It was a great attack on the ball and the body by Matt Primus, but he wasted by giving away the free kick.
Bassett. Adelaide need run here. They've slowed up, haven't they, the Crows? The kick, shocking kick by the Crows out of defence by Stenglein. Wanganeen misses it. Vardy back on the ground. That's not a good kick. Straight to Mead. Adelaide are becoming frustrated forward and a bit inept, aren't they?
Well, their use of the ball has been poor this quarter, Bruce. And that's one of the problems. They used it so well early, and then it brings players into the game. They get confidence, and you're able to run the ball down the line. Port Adelaide, that's exactly what they are doing here.
This is what modern day players do this day. Work the ball short. That's deliberately out of bounds, and Chase hanging his head as though I made a mistake, but he had no other alternative. Look, he's got out of bounds, and then he's gone, oh no, I made a mistake. But he's conned the umpire.
He's always been cheeky, hasn't he?
He just told Nigel Smart exactly what he did then too.
Port doing well. Back to Cocky. Well, he wants the line again.
He's done it again. Go on. Ooh, Michael Avon thought about it.
After the last time that Shea did that, he went straight to Nigel Smart and gave him a tap on the shoulder and told him exactly what he'd done.
So, Curls, did Jarman come off for Vardy, did he?
Yes.
So, Jarman off for Vardy. Rashudo, good hip and shoulder. Franco, well done, Bickley. In the back. Gee, Bickley should have got a free kick. Umpire's letting it go. Edwards to Rashudo. Good kick in the end by Rashudo. Bouncing to centre half forward. Well played, Vardy. Burton held on to. Must get a free kick. It'll come back to Burton.
Smart off for Johnson.
It was a probing kick by Rashudo, wasn't it? I mean, off one step, he had to bang, and he did.
Yeah, and the Adelaide forward line players always had the ascendancy. You just sense that Port Adelaide were just trying to hang on. That's the free kick to Bickley, without a doubt.
I thought Vardy's contest was important there, too, to bring the ball to ground.
Exactly. And Montgomery just tried to contain Burton without actually being able to tackle him, has restricted him.
Hasn't kicked a goal at Footy Park all year. Still hasn't. Well, they can't win, Adelaide, if that continues on. They cannot afford to miss those goals. It's been a long time since Adelaide... I mean, you take the Kane Johnson running goal out. It's been a heck of a long time since the Crows kicked a goal.
Gavin's going to get this.
Welsh versus Wanganeen. Welsh belts it away. Wanganeen saying to the fullback, kick it in front of me.
Yep. Well, they've controlled the game for a while now, the Crows. They've got themselves back. They fought back hard, but they need a goal. There's no point controlling the game for as long as they have in this passage and not impacting on the scoreboard.
Adelaide has not kicked a goal in this quarter.
Brogan again. Geez, Brogan has been really important in this game, Bruce.
Oh, gee whiz. They're getting away with a bit of luck here, the Port boys.
So last goal for Adelaide, that was the Kane Johnson running goal. And remember, they hadn't kicked a goal for about 15 to 20 minutes prior to that. So they've really dried up here. And at long last, Adelaide, it does touch off the boot, so still not a free kick.
Well, they're flirting with it here, Port Adelaide. They're going for the line of it. It only takes a quick turnover. Far better to play the attacking movement, at least drive it down the line.
Port have worked hard in this term to edge away.
Robert Shirley's picking up Nick Stevens. Stevens does a lot of his damage at these stoppages here where he just sits off the contest. Shirley's sitting off him and zoning him so he can't get forward of the play.
Here's Shirley. Well played. Touched off the boot though. Marsh. Good tackle by Brogan. That's holding the ball.
That was Achilles Jones stuff there.
It was good, Brogan. Before the Kane Johnson goal, Adelaide's last goal was 5 minutes into the second quarter. So it's been so long since I've actually got any flowing movement forward. Rashudo, Treadray, out of play.
Bruce, you mentioned the importance of McLeod early on the match for the Crows. I think Brogan's nearly taken up that role here for Port Adelaide.
He's had a huge, huge impact on the game. Polton comes on for Cocky. Bigland's getting ready to come back. We're late into the third quarter. Clark works to the front.
Well, the only way he could work to the front was by dragging Dean Brogan off the ball. Brogan positioned his body really well, and the umpire looked closely at him. He let it go, but I think at the start of the year that might have been against Matthew Clark.
Wanganeen drops back, loose man here because Vardy's away. Important clearance here. Here's Wanganeen. He was in the right spot.
He throws his chest at it, doesn't he? Arches his back.
Doesn't look fully fit. He's looked like he's still got a bit of a limp up. Late goal here would really hurt the Crows. Schofield wide. Kingsley found it. Paxman's on, and he's got to find him. So who's the Crow forward who hasn't picked up Paxman?
It's brilliant play by Kingsley.
Yeah, we'll see him. Is it Scotty Welsh?
He saw Paxman free, just put the ball around the corner for a beautifully weighted kick. Paxman pushing forward, not being picked up by his direct opponent.
What a day he's had. Montgomery and Franco in their 100th game today. What a match, Paxman. He's had Jarman dragged from the field. He could kick a huge goal here, and he has. He has kicked the biggest goal of the match so far.
Oh, how important. Siren goes.
Biggest goal of the match. Port Adelaide have kicked 10 of the last 13. Adelaide Crows are on their knees. Port have got them just where they want them.
It was a tough quarter, and Adelaide threatened to score goals, but they just couldn't. And every time Port Adelaide went forward, they were just able to get some efficiency for their effort.
This is a clinical, very, very good side, Port Adelaide, we've seen here this afternoon. They were down and out early, fought back hard.
Kicked 4 goals to nothing in that quarter. They look like they're winners at this stage.
What a way to spoil a nice afternoon.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. This car pulled out right in front of me.
Right in the back of the screen.
Such an incredible sight.
Big, and you should have seen the look on his face. The car has gone
up on 2 wheels.
I shudder to think what's going to happen. There's a set of shots, and he's heading straight for him.
Right through this window. And there was glass everywhere, and then this other car came along and bang right in the back of him.
Apparently, he got straight through to Amy. Lovely girl, sorting out the whole thing from start to finish.
Lucky.
The controversial fuel additive that threatens to poison our waterways. Banned in the United States, now it could be used in South Australia.
There are so many ways that this stuff can find its way into the water system.
A special report on 7 News Monday night.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. Chemicals from tobacco smoke get into your bloodstream and can damage the delicate blood vessels inside your eye. We now know that smoking is a major cause of irreversible blindness. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
It's been a tough match, but at the business end, there's no stopping them. They're looking the goods. Oh, beautiful tap on. They're away. This is sensational to watch. A real premiership performance.
Golden draft, thanks.
We're trendy. We're traditional. We're leather. We're recliners. With stock ready to go now at the lowest price or it's free. Discount Lounge Centre, Ranella, Parafield and Keswick.
Hello? Yeah, look, I want to quit smoking.
Sure, well, you've taken the first step. That's great.
Planning ahead is really important.
And I can send you a quit book if you'd like.
Call Quitline on 131 848. 131 848.
I got the prints from the guy at the lab.
Scientist Snoopy, 104 new looks for Snoopy, Master of Disguise. Collect all 4 this week at McDonald's.
On Today Tonight, Adelaide's rotten removalists.
Two wardrobes that hold the bin.
Breaking furniture, wasting time.
Turn the camera off.
Even stealing cash. All caught on camera. This week on 7. 7's football telecast. Proudly brought to you by West End Draft. West End Your Thirst. McDonald's. Mac Your Day. And Mitsubishi Motors. Driving your world.
Well, Port Adelaide have turned a 37-point deficit in the second quarter into a 16-point lead at three-quarter time. It's 13-7 to 10-9. The other matches today, they're up to three-quarter time as well. We'll start at the Gabba. Look away if you don't want to know.
In association with its premier partner, Carlton and United, proudly presents the 2001 Premiership season.
It's three-quarter time. The Port Adelaide, a 23-point turnaround. Once again, an excellent quarter.
It was a good quarter for us. You know, they really started well. We fought our way into the game, and hopefully we can finish it off from here.
And this game nearly won at the selection table by the looks. You've gone in with an extra tall man. Brogan was particularly good.
No, it has worked well. We did go a little bit taller, but as it's worked out with the weather as it is, it's been a good move.
Now, Bruce mentioned about the Crows being on their knees, just about to impart the coup de grace.
No, I don't think so. I think the Crows really fought back pretty well the last few minutes, and we're expecting a tough quarter.
Good on you, Jeff. Thanks for that. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Bruce. So Adelaide with one goal since the 5-minute mark of the second quarter. They need the best quarter of the season. Can McLeod do it? He was so brilliant early. Haven't had an official attendance yet, so interested to see if we get over 50,000 for the first time. Port Adelaide playing themselves into the top 4 again today by the look of it.
For the Crows to win, Bruce, they really need to control the football and use the ball well, open their forward line up, and Jarman's their best chance of kicking a winning score. They've got to create space for him.
Vardy on the bench, Jarman back on. Last-ditch effort from Gary Ayres. Marsh doing the ruck work. James out of the centre. Gets a long kick inside the 50. Stevens did well. Schofield read it brilliantly. The handball to Treadray. To Cocky. He's going to kick it. Is he? He will. Port again. They're racing away, Port Adelaide.
Roger James out of the centre was really important. The ruck contest was ineffectual. It was a high ball to centre half forward, just the contest. But Roger James hunts it. Quick kick. And just the contest under the ball by Stevens and Corns and Schofield. Quick hands, Cockatoo Collins bounces it, loses it. Whoa. But good enough to get it back. He's pretty happy. He hasn't been his happiest game, or his best game, should I say, but he's been effective.
Schofield's positioning as a front and centre half-forward flanker was absolutely perfect. He read that ball beautifully well.
Well, Port completely on top here. McLeod has it taken off him. James has been so important to fall forward. Held up there. Harwood comes to Treadray. Treadray well played to Cockatoo Collins. Cockatoo Collins sprays a bit for a behind.
Well, it doesn't look good at the moment for Adelaide, does it? I mean, they had to get the first goal to have any chance, and Port Adelaide to have such momentum. Mark Williams taking the players over to the other side in front of their supporters to carry the emotion into the last quarter. It does appear to have worked.
It does remind me a bit of the Sydney game of 3 weeks ago. What's happened here today? On that occasion, the Swans destroyed Adelaide after quarter time, and the same thing's happened here. Remember that Adelaide led 9 goals to 3 in this match, and it's 14-10 the other way now.
It's a blueprint, Bruce.
It is new, isn't it?
All brought about by work rate. Power working a lot harder.
Harder and longer, probably, Bruce. They're able to maintain it for for 3/4 of a game, take the first quarter out.
Schofield's been brilliant. Runs it out of play. What a match Schofield's had.
And we shouldn't write the Crows off yet, but we're seeing a big difference in terms of flexibility and numbers that you've got in your midfield area to be able to control a game.
Interchange for Adelaide. Clark, Smart, Vardy, Gallagher.
So I wonder if any of those players can play any sort of a role. Primus works it forward. Josh Carr, Cockatoo Collins. He's got it. Cocky's got a second one.
Someone's been shot. Oh my God. It just feels like a bad dream.
When the new series of Felicity returns.
It's been months, and I can't stop thinking about it.
There's going to be trouble. Yeah! And she's all blonde.
Okay, yes, I'd love to go.
When I walked in, she was all over you. Who is this girl?
The claws are coming out.
Are you interested in my boyfriend? Yes.
The new series of Felicity, soon on 7.
98-69. Port destroying Adelaide here, taking them apart. The kick to centre wing. Francis McLeod, who was so good early. Free kick to Francis.
Some suggestion that Fabian Francis has broken his thumb and has required pain-killing injections at 3/4 time.
I think that's Gavin Wanganeen laying on the ground. He just got absolutely cleaned up in that centre bounce there by a Crows opponent, ran right through the middle of him.
So here's Francis.
It comes good quickly, though.
Not on that one, Graham, I don't think.
Kick by Francis to half forward. Bickley to Edwards to Johnson. Adelaide have had very few possessions in this quarter. When you think about it, they've hardly touched the footy. That's their first passage of play. Kingsley, not a good handball. Boundary throw in.
You see Wanganeen up now and called it right.
Just have another look at just to see if he gets crunched here. Yeah, it didn't quite get him, but hard enough.
Free kick to against Primus to Biglands. 5-goal game here. Port to go to 3rd spot, maybe 2nd tonight. Adelaide to stay 11th. Bickley's handball out wide to Stevens. Long kick to the pocket. Well played by Marsh, but Perry couldn't take it. Bishop, who's done very well, bangs it away, and Bickley takes the mark. He's got a couple on here, uses Welsh, had a quiet day, Welsh. They're unhappy with him. He was the one that put the bump on Wanganeen. The kick to Rashudo, over the top to Burton. Burton's handball didn't look good, but it was the only way to go. Gives Burton half a chance. Can Burton kick a goal? No, hooks it badly. Nothing happening for Adelaide. Mead, bad kick. McLeod might make it happen at long last. He had Marsh short. I reckon he's got to take it on himself to kick a goal.
Well, there's no doubt about it. He's within kicking distance. It's right into the breeze, as Curl said. And again, we see Andrew McLeod's ability to intercept. Just reads the ball off the boot so beautifully.
Well, his first quarter and a half was unforgettable today. Has it got the legs? No, Mead, who kicked it to him, takes the mark. So that's the breeze that Curl's told us about, really holding it up. And from a set kick, it's a lot harder, isn't it, than on the run when you can keep it low and punch it.
But why wasn't there a Crows player in front?
Mead.
He's going to go long.
Bang it wide and hard and does. Gets it outside 50. Oh, big flight from Corns. Jarman. Seen so little of him today. He's kicked 2 points and kicked one out of bounds on the fall. It hasn't been his day, has it, Montgomery? The sting's gone out of the game, hasn't it?
Well, he's got so much time now. He's just standing, looking, what'll I do? Now I go long.
And then holds it up and finds Carr.
Yeah, good movement by Josh Carr. He ran off Andrew McLeod into the space, and
their skill levels really picked up after quarter time. We noted how poor it was in the first quarter, but they've controlled the ball and used it nicely since then.
Kick to centre wing. Hart. Shirley's handball okay. To Stevens. Done pretty well. Up and under kick. Going to be hard to mark. Bickley, McLeod, Burton, McLeod run down by Paxman.
That tackle, that arm was over the shoulder if we could watch it in replay.
Smart on for Marsh.
Boys, I'll just quickly give you the bench for Port: Wakeland, Polton, Guerrera and Brogan. And I know you like your analogies, Bruce, and this is a bit like a bullfighter just about to deliver the final blow.
It certainly looks that way, though. Adelaide keep trying hard. Bickley's kick. Burton and Montgomery. Well played, Burton. Jarman. High tackle, free kick. He's lucky. He ducked and ducked, but he got it.
He ducked his head.
Ball.
He ducked his head, and once you duck your head, you forfeit the right to the high tackle. But it was well done by Burton, because Montgomery had that ball well and truly wrapped up. Just watch the fist in there, spills it.
Gee, that's a lucky free kick.
You can't pay those. You duck your head, you can't be paid high tackles.
Well, we're right behind him. Jarman gets his first goal.
Likes what we ordered, wasn't it?
Ordered the trim.
If you've ever taken on a big job around the house,
Well done. It's on plaster and there are holes.
you'll know that getting the right advice
Got to start with that.
is what really saves you money.
It's good value and there's a great range of colours.
And a whole lot
They're
more.
washable. They come in a whole range of colours also.
Because the only thing better than knowing you did it yourself
That's what I knew you could.
is knowing how much you saved.
It's a record attendance for an AFL game here, not for a game of footy here, but for an AFL game, close to 50,000, 49,800.
The game was sold out. What do you have to do to get 50,000 people? The maximum capacity is 54.
Primus taken high, free kick.
Yeah, that's disappointing, isn't it? I mean, from a coach's perspective, you've just kicked a goal. You're trying to create some momentum and run on for your ruckman to give a free kick away like that. Just make the contest.
Schofield running hard, kicks to forward pocket. Cockatoo Collins, well done. Shirley back there with him. Adelaide over the top of it. It'll be a ball up. Well, you've got to say that the move of Rhett Bigland's coming into the side today hasn't worked.
Well, it might have worked. Well, it didn't need to work because Clark was on top of Primus early. But what else were they going to do with him?
I mean, the match-winning change really is probably when Primus went to full forward and Brogan went into the ruck.
Howard over the top, Rashudo. It ricochets off Franco's legs, out of play.
And that was the least likely one, wasn't it? If you're trying to predict this before the game, you would have thought Matthew Primus would have been on top right from the word go. Dean Brogan would have played a supporting role, but in fact, it was Dean Brogan's influence which changed the whole complexion of the game.
Biglands and Primus. Rashudo needs a huge last quarter like McLeod does and Jarman. Treadray. Stevens, well done. Johnson coming across to help. Out of play.
But Bruce, that clearance on the far side of the ground there when Rashudo got control of the ball, he had 3 or 4 players free behind the line of the football. That's when they had to create the run and use the ball and hold control. Rue, under pressure, the situations, got the ball and belted it forward to no advantage.
Primus down only to Edwards. Caught through it. Biglands wobbles it forward. Kingsley versus McLeod. Well played, Kingsley. Uses Wanganeen. Wanganeen will use Dew. Wants him out wide. Hasn't quite got him. Cockatoo Collins lurking. Well played, Stengline. Really well played. Nick Stevens, Cockatoo Collins. He should have handballed it to him. Gets it to him now. Cocky's in the pocket. Back to Stevens. Brilliant. Stevens for goal. Misses.
Mark Williams has just changed. Wakeland taken Darren Mead off to give him a rest.
So Cockatoo Collins has had a quiet day, but he's really come into the game in the last quarter. You've got a play like that who's down can come into the game. It's such a great advantage.
Bickley's kick. Well played from Corns. Biglands. Terrific football, Montgomery. Wonderful. Good tackle, Byrne. So Adelaide sticking to their guns. Well done. Byrne out of play. Good effort by Corns.
That's the dispute contest which the Crows were able to control early in the game, but as the game has unfolded, Port Adelaide have got on top of their game, just exerted so much pressure that the Crows haven't been able to control it. A perfect example of that then.
Primus, Schofield, Bickley. Well played, Wanganeen. Brilliantly played to Carr. Carr hooks it back to space. Treadrave the man to go to. Bounce beats him. Hart. No run from Hart today. He's battled hard, but I can't remember Ben Hart really hurting Port off the back line, can you?
No, well, he's been really contained in the back pocket. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Although Wanganeen and it was going to be a very good contest, it didn't eventuate when Mark Williams had to move Gavin Wanganeen back into defence.
Just 6 kicks for Hart, and Wanganeen did kick 2 goals in the opening term against the Flow.
Yep.
Rashudo working hard, and right over the top of him, it looks to be Josh Carr.
I mean, Ben Hart's normally involved in at least 7 or 8 rebounding movements going forward. And he really is probably epitomises the Crows' backline. He and Stevens, when they get running forward, if Ben Hart's moving forward hard, their backline's rebounding well. Hasn't done that today.
Primus, Franco, still Franco, Schofield, well done Rucci. Ru's working in this quarter. Harwood to chase Byrne. Burns left footer brought down. Good mark, Burton, not paid. Yes, it is. It's going to Burton. Now, Jarman's one out. He hasn't been one out too often today. Well, there's 50 metres.
No, play on. He could play on.
He did play, did he?
Yep.
OK, Smart's got it. Hooks it. Now, here's a one-on-one. Jarman versus Paxman. Paxman was a bad kick in the end, and Paxman front spot did well.
Well, Burton was trying to get the movement going early. He played on, but he didn't realise the Port Adelaide defender was right on him, and the tackle was effective. Now he plays on. He sees Jarman going to the pocket.
Fair enough. Yep, you're right.
And the move that Mark Williams has worked so well today, Brogan on and Harwood off.
Kingsley's done well on McLeod, hasn't he? Another ball up.
He's a terrific player, Kingsley.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
He did very well on Rashudo too.
Yep.
Also, they got quite a few boys in the SANFL playing well. Power. I see Lockwood yesterday, 15 marks, 10 goals.
Plenty of depth. Rashudo. To Adelaide's credit here, they are not giving it away. McLeod, centering kicks a beauty. Stevens now, if he kicks this, it'll be a tough kick. He was going to play on to Byrne. He won't go now. He must go back. If he kicks this, it means Adelaide will kick the last 2 goals and they get within 3.
They've moved him to centre half forward.
Goes short and finds Biglands.
Still life in the ball.
Well, this is his chance, Biglands. He's had to wait a long time to get a game. He played 5 games only this year. Hasn't played one since round 6. Brought in today. Needs to kick a goal. Has to kick a goal.
He played so many consecutive games last year. It was surprised to see him back at the Eagles, but here he goes.
Right behind him. It's a good kick. He's got it. Adelaide within 3. So Adelaide within 3 goals, and Biglands, to his credit, has made a mark on the game. Little tap. Next goal, so important now. Port seemingly home. The Crows within 18 points. Good mark taken by Bassett. Kick to Edwards. It was a bit dangerous. Now they use the run. Gallagher to Smart. This is an important kick. He must find a target. He had short ones. He's gone wide. Stevens has gone forward for the Crows. Montgomery, Wanganeen to Kingsley. Chasing hard Welsh. McLeod to cut it off. Adelaide have got a chance here. McLeod kicks a wonderful kick to Bigland, to Goodwin. Got him. If McLeod can turn it on for 10 minutes, Adelaide might still have a chance.
Well, the Crows coaching box thinking and working well as well. Moving Stevens forward is a good positive move to try and win the game, which is what they need to do. I mean, it's saying the finals race, they need to win it.
Guerra on, Franco off.
Yeah, Biglands has drifted forward again.
Can he kick it curls?
I think you get the distance. Can I sit on the fence for a while?
52 metres out. He's got under it. It's a hard, high kick. It won't be a goal. It comes forward. Kingsley belts it away. So important here. Back to Welsh. Welsh kicks a goal. Adelaide are within 2. They're coming now.
At these prices, don't miss being a part of the action at Repco.
Haynes Workshop Manuals. Comprehensive range for popular Aussie cars, $35.95 each. Sound 4. FX40 CD player, $169. 60-watt two-way speakers, $29.95. MVP. Power tools with 2-year warranty from $39. Metrics tool sets. Fits metric and imperial, 24-piece and 14-piece, $99 each.
At Repco, we know what it is, we know where it goes.
Well, we don't need a raw meter here today. The biggest crowd that's ever seen an AFL game are getting their money's worth. And the Adelaide Crows, I take my hat off to them. They were down and out at the start of this quarter. And when Cockatoo Collins kicked 2 goals, the game was as good as over. But not from the Crows. Gary Ayres would be very proud of what he's seen here.
And one of Port Adelaide's problems is they haven't gone quickly and directly to their goal square going with this breeze. They brought the ball into their forward line far too indirectly.
McLeod, but just to James. Little kick out wide. Guerra's on his own, I think. But rather Montgomery. Kick forward. Treadray doesn't take the mark. Bassett had a fair bit of him. Treadray's second effort was good. Bangs it to the goal square. The bounce important. Hart got a rotten old bounce, but it went through for a behind.
And that behind might be important.
Now suddenly Port Adelaide need a goal, don't they?
Brett Burton was playing on Montgomery then and just sat back in the hole and gave him space, which allowed him to get possession of the ball to drive Port forward.
Port Adelaide far too slack then on the screen. They just allowed Adelaide to bring it out easily. They found Burton. They now have to lock it in on this wing.
So Burton sits it up for Biglands. Treadray front spot.
Well, there had to be a contest there for the Crows. The 2-on-1, Port Adelaide big men to the one Crows big man going for the contest. You've got to create a contest, bring the ball to the ground and then get a boundary thrown so it's a 50-50 setup, or be front and centre with your small guys to push yourself forward.
Schofield. Port can't go defensive here. I'm not suggesting that at the moment. They're slow to move, aren't they? Back to Treadray. They've gained nothing, really.
Well, you might as well hit the goal square, surely. Just hit the goal square. You've got the breeze behind you. Put the pressure on Adelaide's defence.
Going to kick it wide. Corns a target. Corns a target. Corns takes a terrific mark.
Well, it was clever play by Port Adelaide, and at some stage they were going to drive the ball out in the space, long and direct. But they just slowed the play down, took the sting out of the momentum that the Crows had, and now this goal just takes all that momentum out of the Crows.
He's kicked 39 goals in his career. I doubt whether he's had a bigger kick.
Thanks for that. Just what the father wants to hear.
This to give Port Adelaide a big lead. He's got it. He's kicked 3.
Tonight, what's up, Doc?
You got a problem with this little rabbit?
Stand clear.
Ow. Does he break the skin ever?
This bunny has bite.
Pesky little fella, isn't he?
How will Doc Harry help this wascally wabbit? Find out on Harry's Practice. Then...
Sir Subso, let's go cooking.
Nothing goes better with the beach than a good old barbie.
Okay, that's just about done.
But add a dash of Aristos, and anything can happen.
Hey, David!
All new Surprise Chef. Tonight, 7 o'clock on Channel 7.
Yeah, Port Adelaide steadying now. It's a big crowd. I don't think the atmosphere's ever been as intense in this stadium. Port Adelaide steadying. Can Adelaide answer the charge?
Crows need the next goal in a hurry. Carr, Edwards, Stevens. Carr on hands and knees. Who can get it out? Franco does to James. Goes to ground. Hart did well not to give a free kick away. Ball up. Well played both teams there. Port endeavouring to get it clear and Adelaide stopping them. Matching every move.
Adelaide have been great apart from 15 or 20 minutes of that second quarter, and I really think, Tony, that's their whole season.
And guys, Mark's just gone a little bit more defensive. Brogan came off and he put Polton back on.
And by that I mean Adelaide have lost games with about 10 minutes of footy in about 4 or 5 games.
Goodwin tries to get it out. Schofield, Goodwin's handball. Bishop searching for it. Gets a quick kick away and he drew 3 Crows to the contest. Cockatoo Collins running hard out wide. Out of play. Well done by Shirley. Boundary throwing. Cocky chased it hard, Cockatoo Collins, and Shirley was with him.
And if he was able to get free and the tackle was not executed, Port Adelaide are going to push forward as well. Great tackle by Robert Shirley. Just to hold Port Adelaide up, keep the ball in the area.
This great contest continues right down to the line, doesn't it? Players giving everything they've got. Welsh. And a game that was flat at the start of this last quarter's lifted. Free kick to Port.
They've lifted Port Adelaide, haven't they? They're now starting to hustle the ball forward again when the ball is in dispute.
Cockatoo Collins had a huge last quarter.
Yep. He's been very good. Now he's wasting time because he's hurt. He's a great actor. So important to Port Adelaide.
I hope he is putting it on because he's.
Well, I'd feel bad if he wasn't.
Because the hammy's pretty important. Treadray drops the mark, turns his man inside out though. Left foot to about 25 metres. Can Corns do it again? Smart takes the chance. Polton at the bottom of the pack. Corns and Polton and Smart. The ball still has to get out. Rashudo's in over the top, ball up. Adelaide have just got to get it out of there in a hurry. There's Francis. We believe he's broken his thumb. Had an injection at 3/4 time.
It is strapped, Bruce, but we need confirmation. The club won't confirm an injury like that anyway.
Polton over the top. Rashudo hacks it away. Bassett didn't quite get a finger to it. Treadray. Bassett. Gee, Bickley ran straight into the head of... That's dangerous. Free kick to Treadray.
Warren Treadray had the sun in his eyes then when the ball came into him. So he just came over the back of Nathan Bassett quicker than he expected. And Mark Bickley, he ends up with the ball, he's conceded the free kick.
It was certainly there, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I guess Mark Bickley blindsided by Bassett as well, attacking the ball. I don't think there was anything malicious about it.
Treadray kicked 2 big goals in the 3rd quarter. And that one he's kicked to the near side for a behind. So Treadray and Corns have stood up today. They're big forwards. Corns has kicked 3. Treadray's kicked 2. Treadray, big stats, 9 marks, 17 kicks. And Corns has had 8 kicks and 5 marks. Adelaide just haven't had the same return. Perry, 3 marks, 5 kicks, no goals. Certainly tried hard, Perry. Good mark taken by Bassett.
He's plays so well in front of a pack. That's a great mark.
Good stretch by Welsh. Adelaide with some run. Rashudo uses Bickley. He'll get a boo or 2. Short to Perry over the top. Wanganeen getting back. You reckon he'll go back in defence now to try and mop up for the rest of the game? Boundary throw-in.
Well, it was a good piece of play, wasn't it, up to the half-forward line. They looked for the loose player and they were able to create the loose player. But then again, that execution of that short chip pass out in front of a leading forward just couldn't nail them, and that is what's happened all day.
Both ruckmen go to ground.
And I think, Bruce, what we've seen this last half virtually, the Crows just haven't got that special player up forward to do any damage. Jarman's been well held.
I think it's more than that too, Kells. I think it's the execution of the ball when they go forward to hit a leading player. So it's a compounding problem.
McLeod, little kick, ricochets off Edwards. Good give by Schofield. Franco finds the line. Look, without putting too much on it, if Treadray was playing for the Crows today...
Well, it could be a different story. Then again, if McLeod was playing for Port...
Absolutely. I mean, you can go on forever. Here's Edwards. But the Crows just haven't got a key tool forward who can make a difference at this stage. Good mark by Stevens.
I mean, he's the one, isn't he, Stevens? When it's robbing Peter to pay Paul, though, isn't it? I mean, he's such a terrific player at centre-half back. Always plays in the opposition's best forward and is able to hold him down and create plenty of run and rebound. Then, every now and then they throw him forward and he does the job up there as well, but you can't have him in both places.
The match committee would love to play him forward, but they just can't take the chance.
No. I mean, if you don't have a strong, hard rebounding centre-half back leading a strong, hard rebounding back line, then you're not going to get the ball inside 50 often enough anyway.
Well, could he kick a second goal and maybe keep the Crows in with a chance? Time's against them now. But it's been a stirring last quarter by the Crows. Stevens has got it. They're still hanging in. So 2 goals to Mark Stevens. Next set of break. Adelaide, I know they trail by 3 kicks. If they can get a clean set of break.
Well, they've hung in there well, haven't they? I mean, the game threatened to blow out for Port Adelaide early in the quarter. It has a couple of times during this last quarter, but they've continued to hang in there. Throwing Stevens forward has been a good, positive move to try to win the game. It's been rewarded with 2 goals.
"14 points. You know how much time there is at home. The players won't. Adelaide need a clean break to have any chance. Must go forward here. Guerrero held up. No free kick paid. Bishop held up. Port under siege. The Crows are coming hard. Welch has kicked the full forward. Perry, Montgomery, McLeod, Kingsley brilliant. Burton. Good tackle on Wakeland. Gee, they were good Port there. Adelaide looked in. Edwards can't keep it in. Boundary throw-in.
Did that ball go out?
Looked as if it did, Graham, to be honest.
Montgomery was important then. Yep. He was involved in 2 pieces of play when the Crows threatened to kick a goal. His experience was good.
McLeod on the burst looked a chance there, didn't he? Still Adelaide a hope if they get a goal from this. Franco just hacks it and just hacks it. Gallagher, well, we've talked about big kicks for Chad Corns, etc. How big is this for James Gallagher? He's kicked 2 goals in his career. If he kicks this, they're not without some hope.
He is an immaculate kick. The breeze is in his face. It's not impossible. It's going to be 45.
There's a blood rule too. McLeod's off for the blood rule.
Oh, he's
the last player.
Get that cut man sorted out and get him back on. He's the player they need most.
Been a good player, Gallagher. Come onto the Crows list halfway during the season. Debuted against Essendon at Colonial from memory.
Kane Johnson slow to get off the mark, but now he comes on. Sorry, Tony.
I was just saying Gallagher's been a good player and uses the ball nicely, which is important for the Crows.
He's rehearsing his kick. He's just putting it on his boot, swinging the leg through.
How excited would he be if he can kick this? It's not quite a kick after the siren to win the game, but it's a kick just before the siren to give Adelaide a bolter's chance. It's a good kick. He's got it. He's got it. I tell you what, the Crows are going to take so much out of this match today, win or lose.
Warren Treadray being pushed back into defence. Mark Williams going totally defensive now. He'll probably just leave 1 or 2 players in the forward line. Well, can they do it? Can they do it? Their whole season revolves around this next minute and a half of football. Because they lose this game, there is no hope of making the finals. They win it, they're well and truly back in the hunt, given the way other matches have gone today.
Gee, what a stirring comeback by Adelaide. Port still in the driver's seat. Primer stretches. Rashudo. Every kick vital, every second important. If Dew marks it, he does. You would think that might be it.
Get it long.
Soaking up the seconds. It's been a great showdown. Showdown 10 has been one of the best ever.
Treadray pushing into that hot spot where you would think Dew would kick it long to him.
Huge kick, as you would expect, and wide, a real defensive kick. And the big man takes the big mark.
He has been sensational today. He probably hasn't been as prominent, but I think he's been Port Adelaide's most important player.
That was a great piece of play too, Graham, because he was in the Crows' forward 50 area. He pushed 100 metres to where he knew Dew was going to kick it long.
To Wanganeen from Carr. Treadray's 2 goals into the breeze in the 3rd quarter were huge, weren't they, in the context of the match?
Well, this is where you don't agree with it. It's far better for Port Adelaide to put the ball into their goal square.
So they run the clock down and they win Showdown 10. But I reckon Adelaide are going to take so much from this game in the last 4 matches, and Port now a real chance to finish in the top 4 and maybe the top 2. Carr's kick. Belted away by Smart. That's it.
Well, relief more than anything for Mark Williams. It's so tough to come up after a huge win as they had last week. Adelaide lose nothing other than the points in this contest. They'll lament the fact the game got away from them when they had so much control of it. But Port Adelaide keep marching on, and you'd have to say, Tony, almost Adelaide's season, I think.
Yes, Graham, I think it was. They fought it out extremely well. Started off fantastically well. I mean, they just had so much momentum early in the game, but Port Adelaide, like the good side they are able to fight back hard.
First time a club has won 2 showdowns in the same year. Port have done it today. Bruce Linder's making his way out there, and he grabs Stephen Paxman. It's all yours, Prez.
Thanks very much, Bruce. Well, Stephen Paxman, a hard task, Darren Jarman, but you were able to shut him out.
Yeah, I mean, it was a team and just kept coming.
It was, well, let's say one of the great games for Port Adelaide last week against Essendon. A bit difficult to come up again. You looked a bit flat in the first quarter.
Yeah, maybe so, but you know, Showdowns with 54,000 people there, there's no way you can't get up for it.
Exactly right. You know, a top 4 spot, and you have bragging rights, as we mentioned earlier, in South Australia. This is one of the more better wins, we'd say, should we?
Yeah, we did put it down as a great win every time we play the Crows. It's hard, and you know, there's nothing better than Port Adelaide Light than beating the Crows on you know, Footy Park.
Well, there's no doubt Port are going to be playing in the finals, and at the way they're going at the moment, it's a real team effort, as you mentioned earlier. They're going to be hard to stop.
Absolutely. I mean, our focus is team, and the team will get us through and get us wins all the time.
And just finally, the crowd's been pretty good.
Super crowd. Lucky the weather held off, and you know, thanks to the crowd too. They're fantastic.
Well done, Steve. Go and enjoy yourself. Back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, Prez. Bruce Linder there with Stephen Paxman, one of the heroes of Port's victory today. There's Gary Ayres. He must be, I mean, he's bitterly disappointed. He has to get something out of Adelaide's last 15 minutes.
Yes, but is it false hope? I mean, it's so confusing when you're a coach. They fight back well, but in the end they've lost the game.
Let's go down to the Prez again.
Well, Jared Schofield, at the start of the match, we mentioned about it's going to be a midfield challenge, one-on-one. You seem the boys got the better of it at the end.
Yeah, it was just one of those days where you just got to keep working, you know, and it might not happen straight away, but to the boys' credit, everyone just lifted in that second half, and we're able to come home with a good win.
Now, your own performance, is it a predetermined move? You come on, what, about 10 minutes into each quarter, 15 minutes into each quarter? Because when you came on, you really made and changed the game around.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it just depends on matchups and see who's best fitted to match up on certain players. And this week I started on the bench, and when you come on, you just got to do your job. And you know, the guys, all 22 today, did their good work.
I just spoke with Stephen Paxman, and he mentioned about a team effort. There really is this team feeling here now, isn't there?
Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been great wins for the club, and we've got to take a lot of confidence out because they've been 2 very big games, sort of finals atmosphere games. And if we're going to play well in the finals, and that's where we want to be, we've got to win these sort of games.
Well, there's no doubt you're going to be in the finals in September. Good luck. Well played.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bruce. Josh Franco's 100th game for the club. He was very unlucky not to be the first player to play 100 games, and Brent Montgomery's 100th game of league footy. A lot of that with the Bulldogs, obviously. Well done to both of them. Franco was terrific. I thought Montgomery was really good. Interesting game. Adelaide kicked 9 of the first 12 goals. The Power kicked 12 of the next 13, and the Crows kicked 5 of the last 6.
I think Port Adelaide are a tired side at the moment, Bruce. I was watching a lot of their players during the game. They've had a tough career. Their fitness program has been a little bit different. The game last week, I'm sure, took something out of them. They had 1 day less to recover, and they will be grateful for the points, but also grateful for the opportunity to freshen up this week. I think that has to be the strategy. Josh Franco, he was really very good. His stats aren't outstanding, but in and under and around the ball, he was really important. And Montgomery in defence was as good a defender as they had today.
Well, there's a lot to cheer about. They've put themselves at worst tonight in 3rd place on the table. And it's a good place to be. They don't play a team in the 8 between now and the finals. Their draw is very, very good. The Crows are not completely out of it when you have a look at what's been happening around them this weekend. But it's going to be pretty tough. But,
I don't think the Crows can make it, Bruce, but Port Adelaide wouldn't be getting too far ahead of themselves to be starting to look at that 2nd spot. because that's a far better road to a grand final than having to do it from third or fourth.
No doubt about that. I mean, they'll play each week as it comes, but they've got a reasonable draw, Port.
Yeah, two big games, Bruce, that finals-like type games. Essendon last week and the Derby game here today will hold them in good stead come September.
And they also get a bit of breathing space between now and the finals. I mean, to play the Bombers and the Crows to go into the finals would have been pretty hard physically. Now they've got just a bit of a chance to regroup. They've got the Saints next week in Melbourne.
Yeah, freshness coming to a finals campaign is important. Some coaches obviously do sacrifice match day freshness to get a bit of extra fitness at this time of the year, but it's a risk they play. They're happy. You can see the boys. They know that's a satisfying win.
Not quite the same as last week in terms of the emotion. Here they go.
It's more than a sport, it's a true Port Adelaide tradition. We'll never stop till we're top. There's history here in the making. We got the power to win. We'll never give in till the flag is ours for the taking.
What a way to spoil a nice afternoon.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. This car pulled out right in front of me.
Right in the back of the
Such an incredible sight.
Big, if you should have seen the look on his face, the car has gone
up on two wheels.
I shudder to think what's going to happen. There's a set of shots, and he's heading straight for him.
Right through this window. And there was glass everywhere, and then this other car came along and bang right in the back of him.
Apparently, he got straight through to Amy. Lovely girl, sorting out the whole thing from start to finish.
Lucky.
What the hell is that? Sounds like a train.
Brace yourself for the hottest ride since The Fugitive. The Matrix's Lawrence Fishburne and Stephen Baldwin.
Let's do this.
Fled premieres tonight.
Hello? Yeah, look, I want to quit smoking.
Sure, well, you've taken the first step. That's great. Planning ahead is really important.
And I can send you a quit book if you'd like.
Call Quitline on 131 848. 131 848.
At these prices, don't miss being a part of the action at Repco.
Bendix, the best-known name in brakes. Bendix Ultimate Disc Brake Pads designed for high-performance vehicles from just $89.95. Bosch, Super 4 spark plugs improve performance and economy, 4-pack $38.95. Munro Sensor Track delivers comfort when you want it, control when you need it. Shockers from $129 a pair. Shell, Helix Super 5 litre $17.95 and multigrade 4 litre $11.45.
At Repco, we know what it is, we know where it goes.
G'day, Larry.
Hey, morning, Larry.
G'day, Larry.
A new Australian drama will take you somewhere else. Always Greener is coming soon to 7.
Welcome back to Footy Park. What a terrific match in the end. Strange game in many ways when you look at the scoring trends of the game. Port at one stage in the last quarter looked like they might win by 8 or 10 goals, and to Adelaide's credit, they fought it right out. In the end, Port 16-11 to 15 goals 9. It was an 8-point margin. So for the 5th time, Graham, in 10 showdowns, we've got a game under 10 points.
Well, it was an interesting game, as you say. It was tight. Look, Port Adelaide looked sluggish at the start, then they looked tired at the end, and Adelaide capitalised on those, but they just couldn't bridge the gap. This is the start of the last quarter when they kicked the first 2 goals, and you would have thought, how far Port Adelaide?
Adelaide were completely out of it, weren't they?
Exactly.
And here's another one to Cockatoo Collins. I mean, Primus building it forward, Cockatoo Collins off the ground. It was all happening. It looked as if it was going to be an 8 or 10 goal game. But to Adelaide's credit, didn't they find something?
And Andrew McLeod intercepting there. How many times did he do that during the game?
Kicked 5 of the last 6 goals, the Crows punching into the breeze.
And Simon Goodwin here just puts it up high, but it comes off hands, and Adelaide's forward line players pounce on it. Scotty Welsh does all, spins back out of trouble, finds himself with space, and Crows had real momentum then, but you did sense they were always going to run out of time.
It's funny, that free kick to Jarman, which was lucky, gave the Crows, I think, some hope, because at that stage they were seemingly out of that kick across. Young Gallagher stood tall, didn't he?
Well, he did, particularly when he had to stop and wait. There was a blood rule here. Andrew McLeod was sent off. He had to stop, wait, rehearse it. It was all going through his mind, but watch him here. There is no mistake. It leaves the boot beautifully.
And I think I must add at the other end, Chad Corns, a 21-year-old, the same as Gallagher, also kicked a huge goal for Port in the last quarter. The match stats were so even to half-time. Inside 50s, Port got on top in the second half.
They did, Bruce, but a significant stat there of the turnovers. Port Adelaide were miles in front at half-time. They turned the ball over far more than Adelaide. They tidied up in the last half. They were much more efficient, and they went forward a few more times. Adelaide's efficiency still has to be a concern.
At one stage, Adelaide was 7-3 in centre breaks their favour, finished up 12-17, so Port really got on top of the Crows there. Let's go down to the rooms. Bruce Lindner is with Mark Williams, the coach of Port.
Well, Mark Williams, it was one of the great victories. You had a great victory last week over Essendon, but this must have been very sweet.
Yeah, to be 6 goals down and show the real quality of a team. You know, we trained pretty hard this week. We did some extra running, made sure that we were, getting ourselves right for the finals, and it was an educated risk we took. But, I just heard the last part there saying that we were pretty tired. Yeah, we were tired, but we hope that it holds us in good stead in the future.
I thought the selection of an extra tall man might have been in your favour. You seemed able to unbalance the Crows with being able to bring Brogan on and just upset them a little bit, put Primus up to the full forward.
Yeah, Matty did terrifically well, and with Brogan in the ruck there, I thought that was an important change in our game. I thought, the matchup of Paxman on Jarman was outstanding for us, and there was a lot of worries there. Obviously, he's a match winner, and we had to try and cut down his influence. They still kicked a lot of goals. To their credit, they really fought hard. They played really competitive footy, and no one should walk away from the game thinking there was anything less than that.
It must be hard not to get ahead of yourself, because you will be in the top 4 now, and looking at finals, just trying to keep a lid on it.
Oh no, we understand where we've come from. We understand how important each game is, and we just look one week ahead, as they say in the classics. But there's no doubt about it. There's not too much jumping over the moon stuff here today. I know emotionally we're pretty drained in the box. We had to work it right to the last second, and we'll relax tonight and get back on it.
Well, it was a magnificent victory, Mark. Congratulations. Well done to you and the boys.
Thanks, guys.
Back to you, Bruce.
Showing great sportsmanship there, Mark. Well, it's pretty circumspect. You can see how much is taken out of him, can't you? And you mentioned the players as well.
Well, they trained hard during the week. It was a calculated guess. I know a lot of the players were tired. They were able to hold on, though. That was important. The votes were pretty hard, Bruce.
How'd you go?
Well, Warren Treadray got my vote, so I just thought he was really important at critical stages into the breeze. Andrew McLeod was superb, but fell out of the game. I think every player moved in and out of the game. Josh Franco, well, it could have been Jared Schofield, but I'm with Josh Franco. His work in and under and around the ball, even though statistically not great, was very important for Port Adelaide.
Last 4 weeks coming up. Let's have a look. Port Adelaide not playing a team inside the 8 at this point. They've got the Saints, Geelong here, Bulldogs away, West Coast here. It's a good draw.
Is there such a thing as a good draw? Port Adelaide's draw up until now has been atrocious, and they've done as well as they've ever done in their short history. So they wouldn't want to be deceived by that. But on paper, Bruce, you're right.
Yep. They won't be deceived, that's for sure. But that is a good draw on paper. What about the Crows? Most of these games look 50-50. They've got the Blues, and we can't tell you what's happened to Carlton today because that's a look away. They've got the Blues this week, and then they've got the Kangaroos, Hawthorn, Fremantle. They're all winning chances, aren't they?
and their form away from home has been so good. I mean, they have not been able to win enough games here at Football Park, and that must turn around at some stage of the season. So, there's some faint hope for them, but
there is.
You wouldn't put money on it.
No, fair enough. We'll take a break, Cornsey, and we'll be back with more from Footy Park right after this.
Seven's Football Telecast is proudly brought to you by Amy, Mitre 10, Repco, Sip and Save, Ultratune, and Quits.
This news update is brought to you by the Commonwealth Bank. Make it happen.
Good afternoon. Coming up at 6 on 7 News, a second arrest in the investigation into the West Lakes murder victim and mother of 3, Carolyn Matthews. Police say their investigations are far from over. We'll explain why at 6. Also tonight, a 3-day-old baby escapes injury. Its cot shunted through the front bedroom after a car crashed into a house. And American millionaire Steve Fawcett up and away on yet another attempt to float round the world. These stories and much more coming up at 6. We'll see you then.
Shades of Ochre by Stavros Pepos is now available in a beautifully crafted limited edition. Never has the South Australian landscape been captured so completely in one magnificent volume. Each book, numbered and signed by the artist, is limited to only 500 copies. This leather-bound special edition is available direct from the publisher for just $295. Reserve your copy by calling Endeavour Publishing during office hours on 8239 2275.
This RAA symbol has always represented the pinnacle in motor service standards. Earning RAA endorsement is the toughest test of all. One service group has set their sights on this ultimate goal, to offer nothing less than the highest standards, and so earn the right to display the RAA symbol at every one of its outlets. Not surprising, that group is Ultratune. There are 15 Ultratune service centres and they're all RAA approved. Ultratune, in tune with you and your car.
G'day, Larry.
Hey, morning, Larry.
G'day, Larry.
Every cigarette is doing you damage. Every time you inhale, tobacco smoke condenses in your lungs to form tar. This is a healthy lung. And this is the amount of tar a pack-a-day smoker breathes in every year. Every cigarette is doing you damage.
At these prices, don't miss being a part of the action at Repco.
Haynes Workshop Manuals, comprehensive range for popular Aussie cars, $35.95 each. Sound 4, FX40 CD player, $169, 60-watt two-way speakers, $29.95. MVP, power tools with 2-year warranty from $39. Metrics tool sets, fits metric and imperial, 24-piece and 14-piece, $99 each.
At Repco, we know what it is, we know where it goes.